What's the deal, my people? You know it is a Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one. And this one is from season 3 predictions and theories. And I'm not alone tonight. I am simulcasting this stream with my man, Real Enigma and Theories, the professor. We are live on his channel. We are live on my channel. So we are doing this. Are you there, my man, professor? You're supposed to be there.
Yes, indeed. What's going on, everybody? Y'all can hear me out there well?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you live and clear. Live and clear. What's going on, brother? Everything good on your end for your channel?
Okay. What's going on?
What's up? Are you good on your
Yes, I do.
channel?
I think, yes, I can see it on my end as well.
All right.
I think we're rolling.
All right, that's cool. I'll put your picture up on the screen, but you just got
Okay, how's everybody doing out there? I see everybody in the chat.
That is what it is. I can put your picture on the screen if you want. If you got some type of picture going on here, something like that. I just see the OBS sign and all that good stuff. But I guess
so how do I do that?
I don't know. I would have to look. I don't know what your channel is showing. Is it just showing me? Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not. But before we get into it, let me just address a couple of things that happened today that were pretty sad. Number one, rest in peace. I would like to say rest in peace to the sexual talker, Ruth is her name. I can't think of her last name right now, and I know it. But she was very prominent in talking about positive sex, have positive sex, and not to be fear sex or anything like that. Dr. Ruth. So let's say rest in peace, Dr. Ruth. Rest in peace to Richard Simmons, innovator in fitness and making everyone fit. And I would also like to say, we just seen former President Trump. He got shot. Condolences, hope all prayers are with his family and all his supporters and stuff. And nothing that should never happen in this country, that someone should get shot over their political views. It's disgusting. And I hope he's okay. Everyone, from what we see, everything he's okay. But we're gonna try to take your mind off of that right now when we talk about from season 3 and get this thing popping. I'm the Don Tony Teflon. I'm rocking with the professor from Real Enigma and Theories, rocking with him tonight, and we're gonna go through some theories and some talk that talk and stuff. All right, are you on your channel? Are they showing you on your channel? Professor? I can't hear him. I don't know what's going on. I'm sure when I can hear him, I'm sure he'll get back when he's there. He'll let us know and everything else. We'll take this super chat real quick from Kelly Johnson. It says T shook by them from creatures. Nah, I ain't shook about nothing, man. I'm from Queens, New York. That don't happen to me, man. I'm never scared. That's just not the way it goes and everything else. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. So again, I did bring up some politics, but let's keep the politics out of here for the night. You're gonna have a long time to talk about that. Let's just have fun and just talk about this show that we.
Yes, I do see it on my end over here. I don't know if
All right, you can see yourself on your end, or you just seeing what's on my screen. Oh, yeah, I think he's dropped off real quick. Yo. Yeah. All right, one. So the professor's having issues with his thing, but it's streaming on both our platforms. So what I'm gonna do for him is I'm gonna give him the call-in number. I'm gonna have him call in, and then I won't take any other calls but his call, and then we'll get this thing popping, and then that way everything is good. All right. So let me get that call-in number real quick for him, and I'll send it to him. Sorry about this, folks. It won't be that long. Real quick, I have this done. In a second, he'll be right back. Uh, uh, there he is. All right, he'll be right back. So let me just say straight up, thanks for everyone who's rocking, who's come out here and chilling with everybody. First, we know that they have done with all T hand skills alone can beat them. My hand skills are that nice. I can't beat those muscles. My hands, trust me. I just had to put them on somebody the other day that not just playing around, but I had to let them know. All right, real quick. So we know that From season 3 is done in production, is now in post production. All the acting scenes are done, unless they have some reshoots that they're gonna do. But from what I'm hearing, all the reshoots are done. Everything is done. All they're doing is post. So I mean, when I look at everything that we see from this show, when it comes to special effects, they have stepped them up in the second season. So I just expect it to be like not too long. This is not like they're making a Marvel movie or anything like that. I can't see special effects taking over a month and a half the most. And a lot of they do a lot of practical effects too. So it's not everything. It's like eyes and things like that they'll have to do on certain creatures and everything. I was seeing Taryn Matthews in the chat rocking with us. Our girl Carla Way is in the chat rocking with us. Dr. Deb is up in this building, man. Ty Reed is up in here and all that. You know what I mean? Peter Griffin is up in the building. Nisha Rochelle is in the building rocking with us. Carrie is up in the building rocking with us. Thank you for everybody for coming up in here, and thank you for joining me and the professor. I'm not going to get into anything big right now, or I'll wait for him to come on here before we start talking these theories and everything else and all that. But we'll keep the show going and everything up. Just saying what up to a couple of people. Let me see people. Let's see. I think these people are from his chat, so we'll highlight them because they're from his chat. Chapo, season 3 is dropping early fall. Now, I figured that season 3 would drop. I figured that it would drop during Halloween is the time I gave it. Around that time, that would be ideal for it. So other shows coming out around that time too. So you always got to weigh in whether they want to go up against other shows or would they rather just have it to themselves and everything else. You know what I mean? So that is what we would have to look at and everything else. Taryn Matthew, you guys got to do your top 10 predictions for season 3. I got top 10 predictions and stuff like that. Big Dash asks, are you a Giants fan? No, I'm a Jets fan. Jets, all the way from Queens. From Jets, baby. All day. Mrs. T, we need a new trailer. We definitely do. I think you'll get a trailer when it's about 2 to 3 weeks out. You'll get a full trailer. Like this was just a teaser trailer, so you'll get a full trailer then and everything after that. Let's see what he's doing here. What's going on, man? You. I don't know. He's backstage and everything, but I don't know. He's backstage, but I don't know. Chanel Moore says, Chanel Lamar, long time no. I've been here. Yo, I can hear you. Yo.
Bet we on then.
All right, you on. You good. All right. You on. Just keep it the way it is. Don't mess with nothing.
Yeah, let's just rock it like this. I ain't fucking with it.
Yeah, just leave it like that. I said what up to everybody out here. He said people from Queens like the Mets. I do like the Mets. Don't think I don't like the Mets. Of course I do. I like the Mets. I am not saying that I don't. I like the Yankees too, but I do like the Mets, and I like the way the Yankee hat looks better on me. All right. So Terry Matthew said he wants us to do top 10 predictions. What's going to come on? What's going to happen this season and everything. I'm supposed to have a bet with him about top 10 predictions. I already have one bet going with him for the season, and I was supposed to do another bet for top 10 predictions of what's going to happen this season. So that's a lot of predictions to do, 10 of them. That'd be 20 from all of us and everything else. Do you want me to?
I could tell you one thing about predictions real quick. The information that I dropped this morning today about The Voice, that changes a lot of predictions. I mean, people were predicting who they thought was in the barn getting tortured based on the screams. And now that we know they used that could change a lot of predictions right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. If it's right and what you're saying is right, if it's 100% right, then we could look at it as a deep fake used by the studio to try to fake us out of who's in there, and it does change who it actually could be, right in there. So in case people didn't see his video, he did a video
Right.
today. You can
Because
explain your
now it
video.
could be a man.
Yeah. So let me let you explain your video to the
Okay, so
people who haven't seen it.
okay, so if you haven't seen the video, basically, if you remember Kelly being pinned to the tree with the rebar through her head, if you remember Kelly being pinned to the tree, when Boyd went to pull the rebar out, which I don't understand for the life of me why they didn't just put a bullet in this girl's head and put her out of her misery real quick. But they decided to pull this thing out of her head and pull her from the tree. The moment where she was screaming, so when we is what you hear when we listen to the person being tortured in the barn, those sound bites match up identically. They sped up the one in the barn just a tad bit, but it was the exact same pitch and the exact same cadence, everything. It's totally her. If you saw the video, it's on my channel. I did like a minute short on it, but I'm gonna drop a whole video on it. It kind of changes my theory about who is in the barn. Now it can be now. Um, it could be for me. I'm leaning two ways. I'm leaning maybe it's one of Boyd's fever dreams like he was having before. It could be that, or the scene in the barn could be one of his fever dreams, or they could have used that voice to, like you said, mislead us into not knowing the actual identity of who it was. I remember when I dropped it on Reddit earlier today, Taryn jumped on there and said the same thing. But here's the thing. In that season 3 teaser, they used a lot of shit from in the season 3 teaser, they used a lot of stuff from season 2.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
like for
They did.
instance, the shot of the ventriloquist, the shot of the cicadas flying across the colony house, all of that was from season 2.
Yeah.
So now we know that they used the actual sound bite of Kelly screaming from season 2, which changes everything in everybody's theories for real.
All right. So they no doubt they use those things from season two. I think they would have to use the stuff from season two. They wouldn't want to show that. If they showed that in season three, then they would know that that could give something away with it. So we're gonna say let's go on a let's say that you're right. Right. Let's go on that right now. That's Kelly, whether it is or not, but we're gonna go on it and
Hmm.
just say it is just for this discussion. So if that's Kelly, and they're trying to deep fake us of who's in there, who's in the barn with Boyd, then it leaves a lot of options. Now, I know a lot. There's only a couple of candidates it could be to me. So you're talking. It's either to me. I would say because I do believe that when he's dragging the wagon at the end of it, when you see him in that's connected to the barn. I think that person he's dragging that wagon is the person that was in the barn. That's what I believe. So if I go through that, me seeing it, I see Jade handing on the wagon. That means to me this has to be personal to Jade also. Jade's only close to a couple of people in this show. I would say Jade is close to Kenny's mother, the closest, and then I would say after that it would be the Matthews. He's close to. So it kind of narrows it down to me of who that would be. I know a lot of people want to think it's Fatima. And if those two things are connected, then to me, it's not Fatima. If it's not connected, then 100% it could be Fatima. But my main people I would say would be Fatima, Kenny, Fatima, or Kenny, Fatima, or who else? I can't remember. It's not Sarah. I know people want to think it's Sarah. It's not.
Sarah.
Yeah, I don't believe it's Sarah at all.
Now that's who it sounded. That's who it sounded like actually
Sounds like Sarah.
before before the revelation of it being this girl here. I mean, it definitely to me sounded like Sarah. I thought it was Sarah. I was leaning more towards Sarah. I was thinking that Fatima being pregnant might give her a little bit of plot armor, but we are talking about From here. You know what I'm saying? We are talking about a show that showed us a little girl's ribs in the first episode. So I don't know. I was thinking that they probably wouldn't go there as far as to like have them be ripping the baby out of her or something like that. But now, being that they're trying to be all secretive by using sound bites from season two and shit, I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense if that was the case. Yeah, let's. The bottom line is this: we are owed a major death this season. We haven't had a major set death since Father Kotri, right? So I think they got away with it all season 3. They had people thinking people would die, and they did not die. So I think that we are owed a major death. And when I mean major death, that means one of the main casts that actually someone's going to care about. Like it can't be like Randall. Like it can't be Randall. It can't be Elgin. It can't be, anyone who just came. We don't have an emotional attachment to him. Especially when the monsters say we can't break you, right? Let's find out. To me, that means the connection. If that is the case, and the monsters are telling them, you said we can't break you, let's find out. Jade is also pulling the cart. The person that they have in common that they care about the most would be Kenny. Like Boyd loves
Okay,
Kenny
I
like a
agree.
son, Jade loves him like a brother. So to me, it makes the most sense that that's Kenny that they're torturing in there if they're trying to break Boyd.
Okay, so the variable that makes that stick would be that Jade is connecting with Boyd to help carry the wagon because
Mhm.
he would be connected to Kenny. He's pretty much like Kenny's adopted brother, pretty much because the mom and whatnot. Now, I can see that. However, what if Jade is rocking with Boyd now because he's like stepping up and saying, "Hey, we have to start sharing information." Because when you look at the series, throughout the series, Jade has really been the only one that has been like gung ho about speaking to people about what he's been going through. And he's been shot down by Jim. I remember Jim slapped the book out his hand. He said, "I don't care about your books and your symbols and all of this." So Jade has been trying to share this information, and perhaps Jade is rocking with Boyd or trying to help him. You know what I'm saying? Because there is information that needs to be shared. Even when we look at the end of season 2, Jade was sharing information with Tabitha heavily, and then they both went on their quest together, or separate ways for their quests.
So I see it more of as a selfishness. I don't think that
Now,
he
what I
cared.
was saying,
Go ahead. Go
oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say, so you're right. That could be Kenny, and I mean, I am one who has the theory that we are gonna lose Kenny. You know what I'm saying? And I could see Boyd telling Kenny that he's strong. And I know. I could see him telling that to Kenny, and I could also see him saying that to Fatima. Now, I think Sarah might be out of the picture. I think Sarah is too important to actually kill at
Yeah,
this point, and I
yes.
think it's possible that Sarah might still be a villain. I think it's possible that she could still be a villain. The reason why I say that is because just from her behavior throughout the show, she's not to be trusted. Like, she kissed Toby before killing him. She sat there and consoled him, told him everything was going to be all right. None of this was his fault, everything. And she killed him like that after
Yep.
kissing him. Then,
Mhm.
when she came back and she went into her old home, the two people that were very mean to her was Reggie and Paula. And for whatever reason, those cicadas decided to bust through Paula like they did. And maybe it was some sort of get back from the way she treated Sarah. So I don't think that I think that Sarah has some plot armor and I don't think that she'll be out of there. So I can say that I'm looking at Kenny or Fatima.
All right, so let me go back a little bit when we were talking about Jade, and then I'll come over there to the Sarah situation. So Jade sharing information. I don't think he's sharing information like you're saying, like I would do or you would do. He's sharing information to solve his own personal mystery, right? So he's just going to these people asking them about the symbols dealing with him. He's not asking them what's going on in their life. And if it so happens to connect to him, like when he talked to Tabitha and she said, I seen this symbol in the cave, that's when he went into the cave. So it's not like he's trying to get people together and say, everyone tell me a story. He's just trying to solve his own personal problem, and he's willing to share what's going on with him, which is good that he's doing that because people should be more open. But I don't think he's got that mindset where, all right, let's just sit out here and everybody just group it in. It's more of that. All right, dealing with the Kenny situation. I think that Kenny has a good chance of dying this season. You need a major death. I'm going to take what you
I
just
can
said.
agree with that.
I'm gonna take what you just said a little bit, and I'm gonna flip it a little bit. All right. So Kenny, if I don't think Sarah's evil at all, but if those creatures who Sarah works for are getting revenge for Sarah, right? If they're getting revenge for Sarah, like you say, like Toby and his girl got killed because they were mean to her, well then Kenny's next on the hit list because he was mean to Sarah, right? He's the one who broke her thing on the floor and
Right.
everything else. So that would be more thing to say that Kenny would be the next one out if you're messing with people who mess with Sarah. So that's another point towards Kenny. Again, when someone dies this season, it has to be someone that people are going to be concerned about. Ellis just got stabbed and they brought him back, so they're not going to kill him. They're not going to almost kill someone and kill him next season. They're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So I can't see it being that. Kenny, I would be the top of the list for me in there getting tortured.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. I agree on that for sure. Um, and with him trying to get with Christy, and then Mari coming in there and breaking that whole thing up. Yeah, I think they're gonna try to make what's his name? Fei Hung. That's his name. That's his real name. Kenny's real name, not in real
Mm-hmm.
life, but that's his real name on the show. He wanted the American name, and yeah, I think they're gonna make him die a virgin,
Yeah, most likely. Mostly, he ain't getting that ass before he dies.
and
And he
we
ain't getting
will
no
be mad about that. Like there's a lot, yeah, a lot of people will care about that because they were rooting for Kenny and Christy for sure.
Yeah, but once you seen that
So
license plate, when you seen that license plate in season one with that bus, it was obvious that that chick was on that bus. I think everybody predicted that chick was going to be on that bus, and boom, she was. So we knew that wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. So yeah, so I mean, there's still obviously other people that could be in there in the barn. It does seem like the way Boyd is talking, he's talking a little soft, like as if it was a woman, like, oh, I know you're strong. I know you're strong. It doesn't sound like, it's painful for him to see it. Like if it was happening to a woman, it'd be painful. Like say it was Fatima, it'd be painful. And you want to say, they were trying to make Fatima give birth or pulling the baby out of a, you know what I mean? Then that's the way you would talk to somebody in that. But to break Boyd, it's got to be somebody that Boyd actually really cares about. I'm not going to say that it's Donna. I don't think it would be Donna. I know anyone heard someone say before Donna. Donna's not in that. It's not going to be Donna.
nah,
I
Donna, it's not Donna.
Donna's not going out like that. Donna's the mole. Donna is the mole. That's who Donna is.
Okay, so that's where we kind of have a similar theory. I don't think she's necessarily a mole, but I definitely think that she knows some shit that she's not talking about. And I think that she actually like not just knows something, but is partaking in something that has to do with this place. I think she's helping to feed this place.
I think that's one and the same. Which I think that's one of the
Yeah.
same, bro. I think if you know it this is the reason why I say she's the mole, and then you can go with you. So to me, if it's going to be a mole and there's a mole in there, it has to be somebody who's been there the longest time to get the most information. It has to be someone who's in a position of power so that they can get around and see what's going on. I think that the way they're going to run it, it was that Randall was actually right about Donna, but they buck broke him by bringing him in and everything else, and now he's going to fall in line. But he was really right. He's not going to suspect Donna anymore, but he was really right about Donna. I think he had it, and that's the way they're going to show out. And when you look at the person who's been there the longest, been there before Boyd and everything else, the only person that fits the bill is Donna and her husband in real life. That's there too, but I don't think he's an important enough character to be that guy. So I think it would have to be Donna. I think Donna's playing this country woman, like this is what happened, but I don't believe that's what she really is. I think she could be like a scientist or working from the outside.
Okay, so that makes me think about the Watchers. Um it because everything you just said about a mole, that's what you know, it just was reminiscent of that movie. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen the Watchers, but go watch the Watchers, the one with Dakota Fanning. It is definitely reminiscent of From, if not trying to tell you something, if not trying to pay homage, or I mean, that movie says a lot. Just even the very first scene of the movie could be in From. Like the entire part of it could be in From. So,
One hundred
like,
percent.
yeah, that movie is crazy.
No, 100%.
That movie
It
is crazy. Tony,
it does seem
Tony
like
put me
it.
on to that movie. I
Yeah,
had to go watch it after he said it was worth a watch. I wasn't gonna watch it at first. He said it's worth it. He said it's not a bad movie. I said I'm gonna go watch it. I watched it today, and I definitely got to do a review on that.
yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's not a bad movie. There's definitely a lot of From vibes in there, and I'm always one. I've said from the beginning that when you deal with Hollywood, Hollywood is a copycat place, and they usually put things in clusters. All right, they usually have a lot of things that come out at the same time, whether it's superhero movies or movies that look like Rome or movies that look, or I should say, Gladiator, right? And that start the whole Rome type of
Gladiator,
thing.
and
So
you got your 300 kind of movie.
yeah, you get
Then
all
you
those
have
things come from it.
zombie. You got your zombie movies and TV shows all coming out together in clusters. Like, yeah, I
Mhm.
agree with you on that. I think that somebody sits at the top and they say, "Hey, write about this or insert this in your TV show. Put this in there or whatever." Just like the cicadas, I think it was a huge coincidence that the cicadas are re-emerging this year, and From was talking about the cicadas. Not only that, if you look at the symbols of the the symbol of the roots that Jade is looking at, those kind of look like the trajectory of the three American eclipses that just passed, and we just had the third one happen this year as well, same year as the cicadas. And I think that Hollywood does do a lot of foreshadowing in that, right? Because there were several other TV shows and movies that were talking about cicadas as well.
No doubt. I think the emergence of the cicadas this year definitely put that into play. Justin White says, "Me and Bitey believe that Donna is not the mole necessarily at Tony Teflon and Real Enigmas, but Donna and Dale met the big bad, but Donna made a deal with the big bad." Uh, all right. I hear what you're saying. I don't think that's the
Mm.
case. I can understand why you would think it. I don't know why would Dale meet the big bad? Like why would it have to be
Now
Dale of all people to
I
go
don't
meet
know
the big
about I don't well Dale, first of all, I think he said something about it being a pocket dimension, but not only that, Dale is one of the people that was hiding with the Stevens family that night when they first got there. Um, I think it's kind of dope that they put the box directly on top of the spot that Boyd and Father Kotri and Dale and Donna and Boyd's family hid in that night. And I think Dale is significant. Think about it, right? For whatever reason, Donna was very lenient on Dale. And I mean, he stabbed someone. Like he stabbed someone to the point to where this was a fatal wound. Bro had less than a couple of hours. You know what I'm saying? He had to get a blood transfusion. It was very serious, and just Donna comes back happy cooking breakfast for Ellis, and then she just goes in and has like a lightweight conversation with Dale. So I don't know. I don't know. It was just funny how she treated Dale. So I can agree with that to an extent. Dale doesn't seem such of like a big character. However, they've shown him enough to where if a plot twist was to involve him, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. He's not a main character. He did drop the pocket dimension. I don't think that was light. I don't think they just gave him that line just to give him the line. I mean, Donna did knock him out, punch him in the face, and knock him out before, and punch and point at him. I think that when Ellis got stabbed and everything else, it was just mass confusion to get Ellis to the hospital. So we don't know. Again,
I see.
we only see what they show us. We don't see everything. We don't know if she screamed at him later on off camera or anything else like that. We don't see that. You know what I mean? So we don't know that. But I think Dale's thing was that I think I don't want to say nothing crazy here. You know, listen, his wife is a major character on the show. He's on the show. He's more of a side character. He out of the side characters that they show, right? In the show, he has been in the most movies and television shows out of all of them. So if you're gonna give a speaking part to somebody, why wouldn't you give it to him? Than the other people
Okay,
that are there because
that's a good point.
he's actually a good actor and stuff instead of just some side people. So it
Okay,
could be a situation like that. I don't think he's the mole, but I will tell you that I am convinced 100% that Don is the mole because when they show the mole, let's put it like this: if Dale was the mole, nobody would care. Like if they reveal in the end, right? Dale's the mole. That doesn't have an effect on anybody in the show. But if it's Donna, you're gonna feel betrayed. If it's Donna, it's gonna have that effect that's gonna hit, and that's what it's gonna be. And that's why it has to be someone as significant like Donna, Fatima. It has to be someone that when they reveal that it hits their heart, like, oh my God, I can't believe that person's the mole. Because I heard somebody say it was the chick with the glass in her eye. No one cares about the chick with the glass in her eye. We're talking about the characters from the show. No one cares about her. That's not an impact. It's got to be impactful, 100%.
right.
So
It's not going. That wouldn't be a hard impact. I mean, we'd be like, oh man, they got Shorty, but we wouldn't really care about that as much. She doesn't push the story forward enough to care about. However, Dale, I see some people pointing out in the comments. Hey, I see the okay. I see Delcinia with the Fatima's gas pack emojis. You can get some of the emojis that I got on my page there. Go check the emojis out. I think they're pretty dope and relevant. You know what I'm saying to what we do over here. But I see another comment um, where you know Dale says, "Let's play make believe," and it's almost like Donna knew that the what the results of the tower was going to be. And that level of dialogue between Dale and Donna kind of allude that he would know as well. I have to agree with what you're saying. However, if Donna, you're right, it would be heart wrenching if Donna was the mole, or you'd feel that betrayal. But it wouldn't be far fetched to have Dale up in there as well. You see what I'm saying? And he's had enough speaking parts to where it could actually lead into something bigger. You know what I mean? Not to mention, I mean, they're real husband and wife. I mean, their chemistry would be real dope if they were to reveal that Donna knew something. You know, she's always walking around with her hands in her pocket. She she seemed to be very hostile towards Boyd as well. When you look at when he came in episode 1, when he came to tell Ellis about the girl and her mother getting killed, Donna was like, "Hey, we had a deal, Boyd. You don't come up here." You know what I'm saying? Which was kind of like, what? And
Well,
it
they
makes
had a deal.
me wonder,
They had a deal, but we don't know
what?
why the deal was caused or what happened. But we can assume that most likely it must have something to do with Ellis and his mother. And Boyd had a rift with him because of him killing him. And he went up there and said, "Listen," and that was the deal. You sheriff down there, you don't come up here, you leave us alone. So it seemed more like that was why she didn't like him, not that she didn't like him because of everything else. It just seemed like she was rocking with his son, and it's as we seen in the choosing ceremony, and when Julie chose to go with the colony house, the family had no say. The family was like, "You ain't going," and they're like, "No, that's the rules here. She with us. It's done. Ain't nothing you can do about it." And
I'm
that's
just
just what it was.
saying, like when you look at what Jostin is saying, though, he's talking about her making a deal with the big bad, which is crazy because, as he points out, also as well, she makes deals. She made a deal with Boyd. She made a deal with Jim not to tell people. She pulled him to she pulled his coattail to the side. Hey, let's not say that. We don't want to mess with these people's hope. We don't,
All right.
and that was
I
her
was
whole thing to Dale. Yeah,
all right.
we want to keep these people's hope up. Now, we've heard plenty of times that the residents thought that this place was feeding off of their fear, and Abby reveals to Boyd that the place is feeding off of their hope. And so it just, hindsight makes a lot of sense why Donna says, "Hey, maybe she's feeding the place hope. Look at the way that she conducts Colony House. I mean, she's got a Colony House is a hazard. First of all, you got a lot of people in one building. Any one of these people can be enticed by a monster at any moment. You only got a couple guards. We seen what happened in the bathroom where the dude let the girl in the bathroom, and we seen what happened there. Colony House is a hazard. Why would you run Colony House in that way? I mean, I get the free spiritedness, but why would you also like make a deal that involves being separate from the townspeople and to where their actual sheriff doesn't come up there? That's ridiculous to me. What happened? You know?
I think I mean they have a big ass piece of property that's in this house. I think everyone there is on some hippie shit. Fatima's serving everybody weed. They're all smoking weed and having sex, and she's running the show. Again, if she's gonna be the mole, she needs to be in charge of a thing. So by her setting that boundary and making that, now she can do all the things she has to do to get the information that she's trying to gather for whoever she's working for. Now, people want to say she's working for the big bad. I think y'all are
Oh
thinking like
wow, Julie.
I think y'all are thinking like the big bad is some type of like magical creature. The big bad to me is not going to be that. She could be working for the big bad, but that's just going to be the scientists that are controlling this whole experiment, right? It's not going to be some magical creature.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? So I don't see that at all. You know what I mean? I think that that's what it is. So if you want to say
I
she's working for the
definitely
bad,
think it's a magical creature. I definitely think it's magic and magical creatures involved. And if it does have anything to do with like scientists or experiment, these scientists are actually experimenting and observing these magical instances of these things that are happening, probably trying to gain an understanding about it, probably trying to just observe the way that history actually unfolds and creates, you know, uh, bad stains on our past, and a way that we fight through them and clean them up. That's what I think the overall meaning of the show is. So I wouldn't be mad or I wouldn't be like disappointed if it goes into some sort of science fiction type of thing where it they're observing. However, I do think that it's something magical. But Julie makes a great point. When we think about the first when we think about when the episode, what was it, 108, episode 108, season 1 episode 8 shows Boyd's and his family's entry into the Frumland. The only people that we saw was Katri. The only people that they focused on was Katri, Donna, and Dale. Those were the only people focused on. Those were the only people that were there. um if I we didn't even get to see Victor, and
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense because originally Victor was supposed to die in season 1, and they, they kept him. They, didn't kill him off because he did so well. And so it makes a lot of sense that, damn, well, they showed us Dale, so Dale has to have some kind of significance later. It just can't. His significance isn't just being the guy that stabbed Ellis. I don't think so.
I'm not saying that it is at all. I'm saying they focused on those people that they focused on. There were other people in the town. You've seen them coming out of the holes and everything else too. But those were the main cast members at the time when the cast was shot. So it made sense for them to all be together in there. Like you had Donna, you had Kotri, and you had Dale. And Dale, those were the main cast people. The Victor's situation, from what I was told, and I'm just is that he was moved to the main cast. It wasn't that he was supposed to die. It was legit. I can't say anything that would, because I'm not, stuff that was told to me like behind the scenes or whatever, just in casual conversation. So it was a casting thing while they moved him to the thing. I wasn't told that he was supposed to die, me personally. It was a casting thing while
Okay.
they moved the character up and everything. It was like a money situation, and depends how good the show would do and how many seasons they would get and everything else. Why he got moved to the main cast and all that.
I mean, either or, when you look at it, he's still supposedly, according to the narrative, he is the person that's been there the longest. And he wasn't in a flashback. Pretty much the only flashback
Yeah.
that we've had in the show, like, and he wasn't even in it. But Dale was in it. And Dale ends up being significant. He mentioned the pocket dimension. He also mentioned he also started a riff with Ellis, mentioning Ellis's mom.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
also got
that's what he
knocked
got
out by
knocked out. Yeah.
Donna. Donna knocked his
Yeah.
ass out.
For the whole
He
thing,
was the
which
one.
means
He was the one that the blood was dripping on in Colony House. He was the one that, pretty much alarmed everybody to them things being in the house. You see what I'm saying? He's not like a Trudy character that's just gonna die
no,
off
no.
like that. It's got to be
I
something.
no, he's the main. When you look at the people that are in the house, he's the main background character in the house. He's the one that's there. If you want to say he's a little bit more than he's more than them. He's right above those background characters. As for the whole situation with listen, Colony House, I done said it before. This guy, Porn Stash, who let this chick in there. I think there's a lot of more smarter people in there. I mean, only way I could see it going down is that Porn Stash is there. He's smoking weed. He's with his boy. He's looking out the window, and then he goes, "Yo, dude, check out this monster. She's kind of hot." And he spots her. But how he decided to go out there and start leaving this chick flowers is a little bit wonky. I don't think that the other people in Colony House is going to do that. I think there was something off with this cat. You know what I mean? Because everyone else is having a good
Okay.
time and having sex and everything else. I gotta say that he's a one-off than all that, or it would have happened a bunch of times. You know what I mean? When it went down.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I could feel you on that. And you got to think too, like Fatima's been there for a whole year. Like, I don't know how many people usually come there, but the way Victor explained it was that like people come there every few weeks. When Tabitha asked him um Tabitha asked him how did he accumulate all that stuff in that truck, and he was like, well, I used to get stuff all the time, but people stopped. We haven't had any visitors come in a couple of months. So that just sounds like visitors were coming there often. You know what I'm saying? There's probably people getting killed on a regular basis. I mean, drastic measures to the point to where these brothers had to put out a spike strip to stop
Yeah,
the damn car from going through. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, like, I'm pretty sure that there was some severe measures of people coming in there, and I could see Colony House being like a feeding ground. I mean, hell, Victor Victor started Victor started digging graves for people before the massacre happened. Donna was only concerned with how he was making the people feel. She didn't even care about wanting to know what he was doing it for. She was like,
yeah,
"Hey, you're freaking everybody out."
yeah. I don't. I again, I can give you a whole bunch of things. You know what I mean? When you deal with Donna and why I feel she's a mole, but I think we're in agreement that we think that Donna is up to something and everything else. I see this dude he put in there saying that it was an interview that he's seen that Victor said he was supposed to die in season 1, but they changed it. To me, they may have. If Scott's saying that, then obviously I would take him at his word 100%. I don't see any instance in season 1 where Victor would have died. You know what I mean? At all. You know what I mean? I don't see any instance at all where he would have been taken out and died. Uh, I don't know when they would have did it. Maybe they would have let him die in the Colony House massacre. Maybe that was when he was supposed to die. But besides that, I don't see at any time that Victor would
I could
anywhere they
see
could have killed him.
now. I could have seen him dying in the tunnel with Tabitha and her
That
making
would have
it
been
out or
that would
something
have
like
been
that.
season 2 though. If he's supposed to die in season 1, that would have been season 2. So they
Well,
saying
I
if
mean
he's supposed
that.
to die in season 1. Is she gonna go down there, see Victor, and then he just gets killed and she's stuck? They can't do that because then she gets killed by the monster. So if he makes it to that tunnel, he don't die. It would have had to been him going, I guess maybe going to a faraway tree and falling into a rock or something. I, that
Something
would be
like
the
that.
only
Yeah,
thing.
maybe a faraway tree death. Death by faraway tree.
Maybe something like that.
And
I
we
can't
haven't
see any
seen
other
that
time.
yet. We
No, we
haven't
will see
seen
it
that
though.
yet. Like
We will see
I
that
think we
before
will
it though.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're going to see somebody go in a faraway tree. Now, this is the thing about the faraway tree, bro. How did Victor know that the rock was going to fall where it fell when he was dead? How did he know? If you don't know where the faraway tree's destination is going, how did he know that he would be able to demonstrate that to Ethan? Right.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
yeah,
one
I
of the
put that.
questions.
Yeah, I made a video about that, proving that the faraway trees aren't random. Because and when I made the video, I said that. I said if it was random, as he claimed when he did it, then he wouldn't have known when that rock was going to go. But he drew the face on that rock, knowing that that tree was going to drop that rock in
Drop
proximity
the
where
rock
he was going
somewhere
to
close.
do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I
And then
don't believe
even
they're
better,
not random at all.
someone pointed out to me today, and I've pointed this out before, I've said this before, that that was not the same rock. The rock had two different faces on it.
I gotta look at it. I can't deny
Yeah,
it or say
the rock,
if it's a
it had two
different rock.
different drawn faces on it. As a matter of fact, he drew a face on it.
He did.
Then he shows it to him right before he drops it in there, and it's a different face. And then when he goes and picks the rock up after it falls, it's a different face again. So
You're
I
saying that
believe it's 2 to 3 faces on that rock, and that
I
would be
have to look
crazy
at
because why would they do that?
it. I would have to see it to see if it's three faces. I would have to see it happen real quick.
It's
I'd
not
have
the
to see
same
it.
face.
I have to see it. I can't. I'm not saying it's not. I didn't notice it, so I will go back and definitely look and see if that's the case, and see if screenshot it and see if there are two different faces on the rock and everything else.
I
You
don't
know,
know if
but
I brought that up in the previous video, but if I didn't, I know that I definitely brought it. I only got 3 other live streams out there. I know I brought that up in one of those live streams about the Rock having different faces.
Yeah, I have to look at
If
it.
not the if not the live streams, I said it in a video.
Because if it did, it wouldn't prove the fact what he's trying to show.
Right.
It would make it wrong what he's saying, make it look like a con, like he's doing this purposely to show that this is the same exact rock and it's coming right here after I put it through the tree. If it's a different face on the rock, then that doesn't prove that.
Justin, that's a great question. He asked both of us, do you believe Ethan will eventually go through a faraway tree? I don't know. Does that make the list for one of the predictions for season 3? Ethan going through a faraway tree?
If you want to make a prediction that Ethan goes through a faraway tree, go right ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ethan go through a faraway tree. We've seen Julie go through a faraway tree. We've seen Tabitha go through a faraway tree. We've seen Boyd go through a faraway tree. Sarah allegedly went through a faraway tree. Well, yeah, she would have had to go through a faraway tree to make it back to the church.
Yeah, she went in. She
So
went through one.
so she went in. So I could see that. Um the only reason why I think Ethan would go through a faraway tree is if he was trying to evade some sort of danger, which we can only see happening at night. He's pretty sheltered by his parents. He's already disappeared with Victor into the woods once before. So like, I don't know. I don't see what circumstances would happen for Ethan to be able to get to a faraway tree. He's been to a faraway tree already. He knows where one is. I'm pretty sure he remembers how to get there. He was kind of pissed off mid-season in season 2. He was really pissed off. He dropped bombs on Victor's mom, asked did she find what she was looking for. I don't know. I think that Ethan is connected to these people by way of his father and grandfather, and to one of the entities or forces. I think he's connected to them, and I think that somebody's going to try to turn him to the dark side. I think his father might go to the dark side. I wouldn't be surprised at that.
I don't know about that. That Jim's gonna turn evil all of a sudden. I don't know that. As for Ethan going through a faraway tree this season, I don't see a reason for him to, unless he's like he's searching for his mother and he goes through it. He just takes off on his own and goes through it, or some situation like that. That would be the only way I could see him going through a tree this season. I think he could go through it before it's all said and done, but it would only be, to me, if he's searching for his mother. But I will give a prediction of what I think is gonna. I'll give you the whole scene of how it happens too, of what happens. I think we get the full detail of what happens to Victor's mother. I think we'll get the full story, exactly how she died, and I think this is how the story is going to go when they tell you this story.
I think Chris probably killed the mother. I think
so. This is going to be.
I think Chris killed the mother.
You want me to say what my theory?
Say what?
Quick? You want me to say my theory real quick?
Oh, and then you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Did you cut off? Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, some type of delay and stuff. All right, so I think what's going to happen when it's all said and done is they're going to show that Victor's sister ran after the mother, the mother out. She goes out there. So mother's at the faraway tree. She stops the daughter, and then you get Christopher dude comes out. She takes her daughter. She throws her daughter into the faraway tree. She gets killed by Christopher outside the faraway tree. And then after that, Victor's sister winds up in the hospital. And this is where you're going to hear the story, because Tabitha is going to find her in the hospital. And it's going to be with all the drawings that she has of hers that are inside of Victor's lunch pail, that's going to jog her memory. And then eventually she's going to help Tabitha to return to the from town and she's gonna get killed in the process when that happens. So I believe that's what's going to happen this season with that.
Okay, I'm not too far away from that theory myself. I believe a lot of what you said about Miranda getting caught up by Chris, and I think that's the case because as far as we know, besides Megan and her mom, the monsters take you out to like for your body kind of like to be displayed. You know what I'm saying? Um, they don't just leave you there. That's why they should have knew something was up with Toby's death automatically, because like his body wasn't ripped open. They didn't take him out of his bed or nothing. What, they just poked him in his neck and left him in the bed? Like that didn't make sense. You know, so what I was saying was I believe the same thing as far as what happened to Miranda. I think Christopher got to her. Because the monsters would have probably took her body somewhere else, definitely away from the faraway tree. So that's there. However, I do think that I am. I do have a it's a head scratcher, and the reason why about Miranda is because Eloise told came back and told Victor what happened to the mom.
No,
How would she do that
no, she
if
didn't
she
do that.
went through the faraway tree?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
didn't go. She didn't tell that. He said that he came out and he found his mother dead right in that spot. He never said she came
that's
back.
what he said then. Nah, when he talked about when he told the story to her standing at Christopher's car, standing at
Mhm.
Christopher's car, it also makes me scratch my head. Why would he put his sister's drawings in that man's car? Is that his
Yeah,
dad?
I don't know that. I know he did not say that Eloise came back because he had forgotten all about Eloise until he seen those pictures. He didn't even remember she existed
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
what I
But
said. He told her that the sister came back at the when he was talking to her. He told her that the sister came back. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, drop it in the chat.
yeah, I don't remember him saying that at all. That the sister came back. I just remember him saying he found his mother's body right then, and that was all.
Yeah,
Because
that's what he said when they went to the
that was
bottle tree. He was like, "This is where I found her at."
yeah, but so let's just say that was correct. If his sister came back, then where would she have gone? Like I think the trauma of his mother being dead is what made him forget about his sister, right? So if she had came back to him, I think that they would show that. They would have showed it. I think the reason why they didn't show her, they would have showed her come back in there because the next time we see Victor, right, is the next
Hmm.
morning when he comes out. And when he comes out, he sees all the dead bodies there. And then that's when the boy in white appears, and there's no trace of Eloise at all there. So as soon as that
Okay, so,
massacre happens, the first time we see Victor, he comes out, he puts the lunch pail down, he walks down the street, all the bodies are dead, the dogs come out, and then he sees the boy in white for the first time. And there's no sign of Eloise at all anywhere around when he does that walk. So I don't
well, see,
believe he's dead.
but that's also his memory before he remembered his sister. That's his whole memory before he remembered his sister, because it all came back to him. He told Tabitha that the sister came back and told him where the mom went.
No, he could. What happened was that she said that she was going to the bottle tree. She told them, "I'm going to the bottle tree, and when I come back, I'm going to save the children. And when I come back, we'll all be able to go home."
The mom never told him that. Eloise told him that.
She says it. She says it right to him in the thing. She goes, when she goes, she goes,
Okay,
"I'll be back. Stay here, hide. Don't let this dude find you. Stay here. When I come back, we're all going to be going home." And she said that she was going to save the children in the tower. That's the reason why she went. And I guess by saving these children would allow them all to go home after that.
okay. Okay, so I see somebody in the chat saying that as well. That's Julie in there. Delcinia, she's saying pretty much the same thing as well. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I
No,
will
listen, no,
do a little dive
it's a
on
lot.
there and check it out.
It's a lot. It's a lot of it's a lot to go on and
Oh,
stuff.
I
You know
see
what I mean?
Percy Garcia in the building. Percy Garcia's in the building. Percy Garcia said that Randall is Donna and Dale's son.
That who is? All right, that's as ridiculous as Elgin being Fatima and Ellis's son. And all that. Yeah, no, I think it makes more to me that this dude was coming. She seen her daughter, and her daughter took her, and you're gonna see the flashback, and she threw her daughter in that faraway tree to get away from this guy. Got bodied. Eloise gets there, sees the tower. She walks up the steps. Whatever happens to her, she winds up in this hospital. She's gonna be in this hospital, I guarantee, as a grown up. And she's not gonna remember she had a brother. She's not gonna remember anything. And Tabitha, they're gonna be trying to make Tabitha look like she's crazy when she's in there. And it's going to be that lunch pail with the drawings inside of it that trigger her memory, and she's going to help Tabitha get back there, and she's going to die in that process. And before she's gone, she's going to say, tell my brother I love him, or something like that, and then that's going to be it for her.
So you don't think that Victor and his sister is ever going to be reunited?
No, I don't think it's that type of story. I don't think you have a happy ending like that. I don't think we
Okay.
have a happy
Okay.
ending.
So I mean, it's not that far fetched. I mean, you got Christy and Mari.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean? What if there's
I
a way? What if there's a way to get into Frumlin? You know what I'm saying? And somebody figures that out. What if there's this one way in, one way out kind of thing? Somebody figures it out. Somebody like Jade, being that he's hip to now what that symbol means, and he
I
was
don't think he
doing a
knows what it
deep
means,
dive on
though.
that symbol.
He doesn't know what it
Yeah, he
means.
knows what. Oh, I'm sure he knows because okay, so when you look at it, all right. So the first time he saw the symbol was when he was in the root cellar. So
Yep.
he falls on his back. The dude under the boulder screams at him. He falls on
Okay.
his back,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on his back just like the children were on their backs on the slab.
Mm-hmm.
Then he
He looks up,
sees
he
the
sees it.
symbol in blood and that is same thing that's going on with the children. Now, from then he has been like inquisitive about this symbol. He goes through deep diving and he's breaking glass, he's using whole glass bottles. He's like understanding that this thing is it moving or is it just taking different forms? And then the clarification with the roots and what it actually is, and him seeing the same children that Tabitha saw. I'm sure that, she told him, like, yo, I've been seeing these little mangy kids and shit. And he sees them now too. He realizes that something is being done to open up some sort of portal. And if anyone was to realize this, it would be Jade. Like, just think about it.
100%. I don't know if that symbol means that. I think when you deal with that symbol and you look at everything you had, as you said, the first time he seen it, he was on his back. He looked up, it was blood. When he touched the tree, all of a sudden there was blood in dealing with it. And next time when he seen it again on the wall, and when the ventriloquist dummy screamed at him, it was in blood. So it's saying that with these children, to me, that there's some type of blood ritual or something dealing with blood. And we've seen the same situation when dealing with Martin, right? And Martin and
Okay,
Boy,
so,
it was
so
the stuff
real
that was
quick to add
inside.
in, real quick add in, you said it has something to do with blood, but you
Yeah,
also now know that it has something to do with roots.
because it was made out of roots. So you think that there's a bloodline, then you were saying right here.
Right. I'm
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking,
And
well,
that
that's the
there's a connected
metaphorical
bloodline.
aspect of it. That's the metaphorical aspect of it. But what I'm thinking that actually happens is these portals are opened by the symbols or those roots moving out of the way totally into an open hole, and then a tree drops. I think that it's also synonymous with some sort of ritual that was used to make these children into the slow walkers, with a spider coming down through that hole.
All right, I think it's some blood situation. I think the symbol looks an awful lot like the same symbol from the hospital, and I would draw that connection, me
It does.
personally, from it. That it looks like that, like it's a symbol that looks like the hospital. Like, so we've seen in this show that it's possible for one person to be in two places at the same time, right? They've shown that to us, right? When we've
Right,
seen
right. Okay.
Randall or Julie or someone else
Their
when they were
bodies were
going through
there, but their minds were in that dream state with Boyd.
with Boyd in there. So we've seen that's possible. So it could be these children's whatever is here, but they could really be in that hospital. And that's why she was trying to get there, to get to the hospital to set them free, to stop this experimentation going on with them, to free everybody else in there.
Okay, I could see that.
Mm.
Now here's the thing, what I think about I think that both of the mothers, Victor's mom and Ethan's mom, were both enchanted by these kids. I think these kids are long gone. You know what I'm saying? I think their
Mhm.
spirits want to rest, or their spirits want to be set free or something like that, because something just keeps going on and on. A ritual keeps continuing that keeps them in this place. I think those are the same entities that are speaking to Sarah, but they
All
want
right.
her to do something different by taking certain people out that may be what's helping them stay there or keep them there. You see what
All
I'm
right.
saying? But then
Yeah.
but then somebody else comes along and they die that would have kept them there. So it's like a balancing game that's going on.
All right. So
But I definitely think that it's go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. No, no, please finish.
I was going to say I definitely think they're the same, because we all right, so we're let's look at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
The definite communication between the children and Tabitha, the definite communication between Sarah and whatever is telling her what to do. Now we see the definite communication that Jade was getting this whole time was also from those children. Those children were sending him the symbol that they saw. And how do we confirm that? Is because at the very end, who does he see? He sees those children. So I think that those children are the ones that are doing the communicating.
All right. I feel you on that. So what I think
Hmm.
it is when dealing with Sarah, and I said it, so it's like this. Sarah, this you gotta look at who's there, the entities that are there. You have the people who are being captured in the town, everyone there. You have the people that are you have the monsters, the slow walkers, as you like to call them. You have someone above them, and then you have the people that are talking to Sarah. Right, that's a whole different entity. The people that are talking to Sarah, that are sending Sarah the messages, the ones who put the note in her arm, the one that told her to kill Toby, those people, as she said, are the people that are also being held captured there by the people that are holding them captured there. So there's another captured group of people that are communicating with Sarah, and she has been the only one since everyone's been there that they've been able to actually communicate with was her. And that's what her importance is in there. So there's another group of people that are there that are being held captive, two captive people that are there. The people in the town and the other people that told Sarah to kill the boy. And I think when they said kill the boy, they meant the boy in white, but Sarah had never seen the boy in white. The only boy she had seen was Ethan, and she mistakenly was going to kill Ethan. But I think that they want the boy in white to die. And they said specifically, if the boy dies, we can all go home. They can go home, and the people in the town. So I think it's the boy in white that needs to get got. He has to die in order for everyone to get out of that place.
I would think that the boy in white is dead.
Uh,
I think
well,
that
we
the
don't.
boy in white is dead. I think his spirit's trapped in there. And think about it. He's not aging or any of that. He's still a little boy. Still the
But the
same little boy that Victor.
yeah, but
You
the
know what I'm
water
saying?
hit.
Like,
Yeah,
why isn't Victor surprised that this little boy in white still looks the same? Like,
yeah,
what?
but
Like what?
he's not when he comes back this season. If you see the actor who plays him, you're gonna see a different boy in white because he's had a big growth spurt. But when he's got to be manifested in that physical world because he was getting
Are they
wet
going
by
to
the
use
river.
him?
I would think so. Yeah, he's still gonna be on it.
Are
But
they
he
using
was
him for season 3?
yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I didn't hear no casting change or anything. So, but he was
Okay.
getting wet. He was getting wet when they were in the storm. His hair was fucked up. You know what I mean? So the fact that
Yo,
it's the
that's
water,
crazy. Yeah, that's a good point.
huh?
I said that's a good point.
Yeah. So he has to be a physical manifestation because the water was actually touching him. Now, I think he could be an experiment that got out of control and is running around and trying to recapture him, but they can't capture him. You know what I mean? It could be a situation like that. Who knows? But I do believe that the boy in white, and Sarah did say specifically that he's not a boy. She said, because when they brought the boy in white up and everything else, she said, didn't sound like a boy to me. So when the guy was, when the boy in white was talking to Sarah and Boyd and them, she said it didn't sound like a boy to her. She said, I don't think he's a boy, I think is what she said. So the boy in white is not a boy. He's giving the projection. If this could totally be an avatar situation for everyone that we see in there. I can easily see them going this route with it, that everybody in there has some form of avatar and they're actually not there and they're in some type of
So
device that's playing it.
how do you feel about the theory? Then how do you feel about the theory that Tabitha's body could possibly be found there?
I think that if they find Tabitha's body and they do that, I can tell you how it would happen. Like to me, if they were going to do that, right, and it was going to happen that way, I think that what would happen is right in the beginning of the season, Jim is gonna get pressured by his daughter. Where the fuck is mom? He's going to tell her. She said she was going to some faraway tree with Victor, and she's gonna get mad at him. Why'd you let her go? She's not gonna be there. He eventually tells Boyd. Boyd tells goes to Victor. Where is this tree that Tabitha went into? Then they all go to the bottle tree, and then they go through the bottle tree, and her body would have to be laying outside there. But if they did do that, and I don't think they will do, that's how I feel they could do it. But I don't think they would do it because if they did do that right now, then you lose everything about what's going on in this show. You will no longer care if anybody dies in this town because you know that's not their actual physical body. So it could be the case, but I don't think they can do that in season 3 unless they plan on ending it in season 4. You couldn't do that
Nah, I
early.
100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Like if they show that Tabitha's body is still in Frumlin and we see her out and about in the real world, we would not care about anybody dying for the rest of the show, and it would kind of like ruin the show. So
Yeah,
I don't agree with that theory. I don't think that they would be stupid enough to do that. You
yeah.
know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? To
yeah,
write it. You
yeah,
lose all the interest now. Like no, now we don't care if they die because we know that they might wake up out there somewhere. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? Or it could be a situation where if you die in Frumlin, your soul is trapped there, like Abby. What if that is Abby? What if that is Abby talking to him? What if that is her spirit talking to him?
It could be real.
Like
Like
we
Abby
don't
could have been right.
necessarily know. It could be real.
Yeah, Abby could be right that this is a nightmare, this is a dream. You got to get killed to wake up from it. It would make sense when you have a dream, and everyone who's ever had a dream, everyone knows that if you're falling in a building, you always wake up before you hit the ground. The boy in white said this is the only way. He pushed her out. She could have woke up before she hit the ground, and now she's out of that dream, and it snapped her out. It could be that. I just don't think they can do that this early unless they're ending it in 4 seasons. The ending in 4 seasons, yes. But if they plan on going 5 seasons, that's got to be a season 4, season 5 plot twist. You can't come back with that too early. It just make everything insignificant in that town. nobody would care about anything in the town. So it could be that. I just don't think they would do anything about that uh this early. And so I know someone left a question earlier saying talk about the picture of her outside. That was a leak photo that was there from the set, and it did show her outside of the hospital. And I do believe that she does. From the picture, it looks like she's trying to escape from the hospital, and they're going to track her down. They also had casting people, and a couple of people in the casting were called TikTokers. Like two people were casted as TikTokers. So I think that she's going to take the phone of one of those TikTokers and stuff while she's out there, and that's why they were made that way, and that's why they were named that way. So
Oh, that was crazy.
yeah, so I do believe it would be a situation like that. While they, obviously Tabitha, they're gonna make her think she's in a loony bin, like she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about and all this stuff. I think that's what's gonna happen until she actually runs into Eloise, or she sees Nurse Eloise or whoever she is. And that's what I think will go down and everything else. People said, but Tabitha
You
had
know,
scratches.
here's what
So real quick, let me hit this real quick.
no what they
OW,
say.
OW says, but Tabitha had scratches at the hospital, so it wasn't a dream. It could have been a dream for the fact that we don't know where she got those scratches from, because we know one thing we do know is that the Matthews got into a car accident, right? So what if that car accident that they got into really did happen in the real world, and they took all of them and put them inside some simulation that put them in from world and stuff. So the fact that she was in a car accident would make sense why she would have those scratches and scars. Because you can't say that's from the fall, because if she actually fell from that height, it wouldn't be scratches and scars. She'd be nothing but like chopped meat on the floor. That lighthouse is in the clouds, literally. So it just wouldn't be a couple of scratches in there. She would just be turned to chopped meat when she hit that ground. Go ahead, Rhea.
Okay, so here's another thing about that. I think Kotri answered Tabitha's question when she asked him at the chapel, did they survive the crash? And the thing about that is he answered her with, well, we saw y'all at the funeral, so y'all were already here before the crash.
Yes, yes. And he also said that because she was trying to ask if they were in purgatory, and he said no, and he said he had a lot of time to answer that question. So she wasn't the first person that was there that asked that question. And I think that the showrunners put that out there because they knew that people would start thinking, theorizing, and one of the theories would be that they are dead in purgatory, a situation like that. And they wanted to nip that theory right in the bud so you could think, no, it's something else going on here.
Hmm.
All that. So I
Now,
think
one thing
that
that'll be interesting is I see a couple of comments have mentioned the boy in white's interactions with Tabitha in the hospital. That would be dope to kind of confirm that From is not just confined to Frumlin, but they have actually interacted with these people in the real world beforehand. Like, because how else would Frumlin know to bring Brian Kelly there to send that message to Boyd? And that kind of rounds us back. If y'all just started joining it live, we originally started off talking about the revelation of the soundbite from season 2, Kelly being pinned to the tree, is actually the screams that we hear in the season 3 teaser. And that changes a lot as far as theories are concerned, as far as who could be the one that is being tortured, and a couple of other things actually. But as I was saying, like, how would this place have known to bring Brian Kelly there to send Boyd the message? And that also ties Boyd to Fatima in a way, because the conflict in Iraq is what led to the dispute between the statesmen and the religious people in Iran. And um, Fatima speaks about her father being an outspoken clergy that ended up getting shot. And that's what happened to a lot of these guys. Like they were just like literally they was pulling up on them while they were with their kids and just getting rid of them. And that's what actually brought her to America. So though that connection right there said a lot, I think we will get the connection to the reason why Kenny and his family came to America as well. I think we'll get a little more backstory on that. I know that his father mentioned that Kenny's real name is Fuhan, and so I think we'll get a little more backstory on Kenny before we see his demise. So yo, I think that Kenny is the one who we will lose, but I'm not sold on him being the one in the barn yet. Just because they tried to hide the identity, I'm still not sold on who it is in the barn, but I definitely feel like we're gonna lose Kenny this season.
Yeah, I think he's dead. He may not be the person getting tortured in the barn. It makes sense for him to be that person, but in the end, I don't think that Kenny makes it out of this season. Can't see him making it out of this season or anything else like that, which might mean his mother might off herself if he goes out again. If we talk, me and Phil talked about if Kenny's mother dies, then you see the full Breaking Bad Kenny. Right, you'll see the full unleashed Kenny unleashed and stuff. You know what I mean? And all that. So
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about
Which in
that.
real life, like, dude is an actual badass in real life. I think he's like a champion grappler.
Yeah,
I think
jujitsu.
he's like a
He does.
champion martial artist, jiu-jitsu and grappling. Yeah. So
Yeah, he
like that would be pretty dope to see him like drop kick one of the monsters. Yo. That shit would be crazy.
there would be to see something like that. It should be. It would be again when I look at people and I think about people trying to who get offs and everything else. I look at a number of factors. Another fact I look at is there someone to replace Kenny? Is there somebody else out there who would take Kenny's spot of what Kenny is doing and stuff? You know what I mean? So you have people. You have Elgin could step up to that position. There's other people who could be there. Randall could step up to that position. There's other people who could take his spot. It's like I said, Donna, I could see her getting done because Fatima's there to take her position. There's no one to take Boyd's position. You can't kill him off. There's no one who could do what he's doing. And obviously, Harold's the star of the show. It just doesn't work without him. So always look at those things. Who can move up there and take the other person's position and everything else, not skip a beat inside there and everything else. So that's why I could think Kenny would go. He would make the most emotional impact. If we're talking about Jade, again, just because that wheelbarrow is being carried doesn't mean that body had to come from the barn. It could have just been something else.
They were walking from the barn, but you're right.
Kenny could have sacrificed himself to save somebody in the night and died or something like that. You know what I mean? So I do think that Kenny will probably be killed this season. It's a good chance that Kenny dies.
What do you think? What do you think Randall's outlook is going to be? Do you think that Randall is going to turn into an important character?
Yeah, I think he's buck broke. Like I said, he got buck broke. I think he was right about Donna, but he went about it the wrong way. They buck broke him. I don't know if everyone is familiar with that term in the chat, but if
Yeah, like
people aren't,
they're trying to do Boyd, break him.
yeah, they buck broke him after doing what they did to him, and now he's going to be compliant to anything that Donna says and anything Donna wants to say. You know what I mean? And and then eventually, when it's all said and done, he was right all along about Donna. I think that's what it is. So I do think that they could move him up in the cast. If Kenny gets gone, I could see him taking that spot of being the main guy in Colony House. Donna's, number one guy in there or something like that, hanging out there. If that's where he goes, but I could definitely see that going down with him.
I see Julie in the chat talking about the ghost Tom. We also have the ghost Katri. She says she doesn't trust those ghosts. She said, I don't trust Ghost Tom or any of the other ghosts. He had an ulterior motive. I don't know. I think that the ghosts are actually a part of, like, Boyd, like the Khatri ghost is actually Boyd just talking to himself.
That's the way I look at
Um,
it. Same.
yeah, and I think that it's the same thing with Jade. And I think that
Mhm.
this place has given them the ability to, like, use these people as their thought avatars.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I agree. I
yeah,
think they're just talking to himself, and this is what they see. I mean, I don't know if anyone has watched The Boys this season, but if you have watched The Boys, you'll see the same thing happening to Butcher out there, and
yeah,
he's talking to someone who's not actually there, but they show that person as a physical manifestation on the screen, but in reality, when he's talking, no one is actually there.
yeah. And that was a dope ass plot twist. The rest of the show is kind of trash, really, but that was a dope ass plot twist that they threw in there. I definitely didn't see that coming. I haven't read the comic. I don't know if it's in the comic or what, but yeah, I didn't see that coming and until right before they dropped it. That's
There's a
when I
movie.
saw it. I was like, oh, I don't think this dude is really there.
There's a movie called Mr. Brooks.
And then I was like,
You ever see the
I
movie
think I
Mr.
seen
Brooks
that.
with Kevin Costner?
Refresh my memory on.
It's Kevin.
No, I
I guess
didn't.
Kevin Costner is a serial killer in this movie, and I won't give it away. It's a really good movie. You should go watch it and stuff. There's a whole thing like that going on in there and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. It makes me think of the movie with John Turturro and where the guy was planting the tomatoes. You know what I'm talking about. I think it
that's
might
not a
be
spoil.
Johnny Depp. What was that?
I'm just telling this guy in the chat. It's not a spoiler that I said Mr. Brooks is a serial killer. It's known from the beginning of the movie that he's a serial killer. It's not. That's the. That's what it is. That's not a revelation at the end of the movie from this opening scene. You know he's a serial killer. So I don't know if I'm spoiling anything there. And that movie's been out for like 20
But the
years. If
Ghost
you ain't
Abbey
seen it,
seems to be obvious.
if y'all ain't seen it in 20 years, the movie's been out 20 years, man. Time limits up on that shit.
Okay. Okay. So Julie rebuttal, she says that's what she originally thought, that they were talking to themselves. But Ghost Abbey seems to be obviously evil and trying to trick Boy. So I don't trust the ghost Tom or Khatri either.
I think it's
Now I got to agree with you on that. The Ghost Abbey is on some other shit, like, yeah, she's on some, like, poltergeist type shit. But the Ghost Tom and Ghost Khatri have actually been helpful. Like, the discussion with Tom in the bar was actually helpful to Jade. You see what I'm saying? And he was able to kind of calm down, sit, and kind of analyze this thing better. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same Tom that he was talking to in the bar, for sure. It
yeah.
was
So
Jade talking to himself. To me, that's what it seemed like.
yeah, it's two different things, right? So I think when you deal with Abby, Abby's being sent there by the people who are holding them hostage and coming to Boyd to try to and they're talking to Boyd in Abby's form, trying to get him to do what they want him to do, right? That's what I think's going on. So the people who are
Hmm.
holding them hostage are sending an image of Abby to Boyd so that they can get him, manipulate him to do what he wants to do because it's his wife. Tom and that's a whole. They're not sending those people to him. That they're actually thinking of those people talking to himself. So I think that's what the difference is when Abby and these.
Justin, Justin said, "How is it helpful?" I'm gonna go back and check it out. I remember saying, "Okay, this helped Boyd," and I remember saying, "Okay, this did help Jade." This is something that I pondered before too. Like, I was wondering where they, because I did connect it to the whole Abby ghost, and the Abby ghost was definitely evil. Um, but in a way, she was somewhat helpful as well by telling Boyd what this place is really feeding off of. It's just that she wanted Boyd to just give up, but he obviously didn't and smashed the
Yeah.
music box.
All right, so he says no, Tony Teflon, and that and that the professor, the ghost Tom entity actually tricked Jade, just like he did the ritual to unleash the rift in Frumville or the next entity. Is what he's saying that who the ghost Tom eventually tricked Jade, just like it did. To what rift did Jade unleash?
I'm
What did
not
he?
sure. Yeah,
I
break
don't
that
know this.
down. Who
I
said
don't know
that?
this. Josh, Justin, Justin. I don't know what rift that he actually unleashed. I didn't see him unleash anything.
What did he unleash? I think it was I think a lot of there were a lot of magical nuances between Jade and Tom. Um, you know, when you think about like Jade when he was in the bar, he does the spitting libation where he spits the liquor out. A lot of voodoo priests spit liquor. They spit it on the fire, they spit it on the chicken, they do a lot of that. Also, creating liquor is called spirits. Um, you know, and that's what Tom was doing, and then Jade took that over. And I look at the bottle tree and the bottles that Jade was dealing with, and Jade was putting spirits in the bottle, and Boyd was taking out of the bottle. When we look, Jade and Boyd don't have really a lot of scenes together, and
No.
so it it is going to be interesting. I mean, for them to show us that in the teaser is definitely going to mean something there. But um I don't see anything that okay, so what did Tom as a human was more deterrent than him as a ghost. Like he was the one that didn't believe in the magic tower. He was the one that was telling them to not care and just get used to life how it is here and just kind of accept it and just roll along with it however it is. It kind of makes you think like what happened to you before you got here. But then you also have like when he was talking to Jade, it gave Jade more focus on what he was actually trying to understand. And it I think grounded him and didn't let him go crazy and violent as we saw Chris did by looking at the symbols and stuff. Because he was
Yeah,
able to sit down and talk with Tabitha and everything. So I don't think those symbols are going to turn Jade into evil like it did Chris either.
yeah, we don't know how long it took Chris to get that. If it takes a while after that, Jade's been trying to figure this out. I'll talk more about Jade in a second. Julia Barber, I want to get this, make sure everyone we're clear on this. So Julia Barber says Justin means that Jade might. All right, so that's different between saying he did, but he might have been tricked because when he was in the middle of the slabs, it looked like a ritual is happening and it could unleash a new threat on the town. So that's different from what he said. He said it did, and he's saying it might. So we'll go with the might. I don't think that anything Jay did while he was looking up at that symbol unleashed a new threat on the town. I don't see him triggering anything that happened. When we seen the
No.
threat on the town that happened with Boyd, he actually did something to cause that threat to come. So I don't see that Jay did. I think what Jay did when he seen that was he seen what was actually going on, that these kids are being experimented on. And the symbol to me represents the hospital. So that's where the experiment is actually taking place. And that's just my opinion. But I don't see that he
Hmm.
did anything that unleashed this threat by standing there. I didn't see like smoke come out or anything like that where he would unleash. When the new threat came with Boyd, he actually seen it when it happened, and you knew it was going to happen after that by what his actions.
I agree with that. I don't see Jade. I don't see what Jade saw was actually happening in real time. I think it was like another vision. Just like Tabitha seeing the little monster in the cage, that it wasn't there, the little slow walker kid, the baby slow walker, uh the mangy kid that was in the little makeshift cell, stone cell in there. It wasn't really there. Just like it wasn't really in the middle of the street when Tabitha and them was coming from the barn picking clothes. It wasn't there in the middle of the street, the two kids holding hands. The kids when she was on the porch with Ethan, they weren't there. When she was outside and Jade came to her, they weren't there either. So I think that anytime you see these little kids, they're not really there. I think it's some sort of vision. So I don't
Mhm.
think an actual ritual was happening when Jade went in there though. I
Yeah,
think
now
Jade just saw the slabs where the ritual was happening at once, and the kids was showing him what the fuck was going on. Because when he
yeah,
first looked up, the hole was sealed. But then he looked up after he saw the kids saying Ankui, and he looked up and he saw the symbol. So I think it's, and I think that the different symbols are literally just the same symbol seen from different perspective because the kids are like arranged in a circle. So of course they would see the symbol in different ways.
yeah. I agree with you on that. You know what I mean? I agree. It's not. I don't see him at all doing anything to cause any type of new threat. I don't think they could go that route in the show after just doing it. I think what they're trying to do from what we've seen in this teaser trailer is make the monsters more of a threat because I think they took away a lot of their threateningness in season two. And I think by the we've seen the trailer, they're showing that these monsters are going to be more of a threat than they were in the previous season. They're going to get back to that and everything else. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way it's going to go down when it's all said and done. Uh, but
Yo, shout out Stephen Knox. Thank you. He says, love your theories, bro. Yes, my theories love you too, brother. Thank you for that. It helps the channel. Appreciate that much. Yes,
100%,
indeed.
100%, 100%. Yeah, so when dealing with Jade, like my theory about Jade and this whole interaction and this whole situation is that the way I see it is that Jade came in unexpected. Jade wasn't brought in by the same people that brought in the Matthews. The people that brought Jade in were the people that talked to Sarah. They're the ones who got Jade to come in, Jade and his boy Toby. They're the ones who brought them in. And I think the reason why they brought Jade in there is because the algorithm that Jade created is eventually in the future the same processor or computer program that they use to make wormholes, which gets everybody in here. And they knew that
Mm.
Jade, by being there, who you could say is the father of all this because he's the one who actually built the program that started all this stuff, is able to figure out exactly how to get them out of here. He's the one who's to figure it out, and that's why he was brought in there. He wasn't meant to be in there by the other people, but the other people who are being controlled, talk to Sarah, they purposely brought him in there, and that's why Jade is there because they know that he can help get them out of here because he's the one who made this program.
And as far as Jade like opening something or causing a new threat, the only way I could see that happening is them simply a new threat happens because Jade is trying to figure some shit out. Just like the storm happened because, you know, they were doing the tower or whatever. We don't know why that storm happened. That storm could have been happening because of the tower, but it could also have been happening because Sarah and Boyd were getting close to the lighthouse. So we don't know why actually or what triggered it for sure.
Yeah,
But we can say that the tower, I think that Colony House caught the most fallout. I mean, you had all the light bulbs bust, you had the tower come through the window, you had Girly got glass in her eye, you had the house fell down in there, and they told him it was going. His wife shouldn't be in there on the radio. Like, so there were a couple of things going on that that the town was pushing back, that I could see like something being unleashed or something happening, but not necessarily anything like what Boyd had brought back to the town.
yeah. That's why my theory that I came up with, the fourth dimensional being that is controlling this thing, and someone in the fourth dimension. When I made that theory up and I came up with that, it's what makes this whole thing make sense when you deal with that. If you have someone in the fourth dimension, everything that we have seen is explainable by somebody living in the fourth dimension. Right? So that's 100% anything, everything that you just said, all the house being torn down, the weather changing, all of the girl getting glass in her eye, all that stuff, anything of that all converts to my theory of the fourth dimensional being able to do this. Even when you look at the guy whose woman's chest ripped open, he said, and seen it. If there was someone in the fourth dimension, you wouldn't see them
Yeah, they could do
actually
that.
touching the body. They could rip your body up. You just see the
They could
aftermath
just rip
of
it
it,
open, right? Because
and
they
that's
could
what
see
it would
right
do.
into you.
They can see right
Yeah,
through
they
your
could
whole
see.
body.
Yeah, they could see right through your whole body. You know what? All right, so okay, so I'm not mad at that. I want to know this though. Who are these three-dimensional beings, or this three-dimensional being?
The
Like, are
fourth
they
dimension.
the yeah, that's what I meant, the fourth dimensional being. Who are they? And like, are you saying that they are who's trapped in this place, or who is bringing the, like, what role do they play?
So I think that in the end, it's going to be it's this whole thing is going to deal with aliens, and it could be aliens experimenting on humans. But I think the twist that they're going to do in the show is that it's actually humans who figured out a way to the fourth dimension from the future, are actually captured some aliens and are experimenting with the alien DNA on these human beings, and that the big bad in the end will just be regular humans, but humans from the fourth dimension, human that are living out in the fourth dimension. I think that's how you put the
Mm,
switch. Just have aliens in the fourth dimension messing with humans is kind of cliche. It's been done before. We've seen that already. So, but I think if you do the twist, and the twist is that what these humans who have this wormhole, who was able to do it and everything else, who were able to do the wormholes, were actually able to catch some aliens, and now they're able to use the alien DNA to experiment on it. This guy, who is a Gardenia Blossom. I'm not into the theories. I let me say this, Gardenia. I am the creator of the alien theory, so I know a lot of people have said things about aliens, but if you go back and look at any Reddit post, any YouTube video, I came up with that theory in season one, right from the beginning of it and everything else. The alien fourth dimension theory, I came up way back then. So I'm gonna keep pressing it. I understand there's a lot of people who have jumped on it, and everyone has the right to, and added some things of their own to it and stuff. But I will say that I will not discredit the fairy theory. I see that there is a lot of credence to that fairy seed, and if you replace the aliens with the fairies, I think you would get the same exact results. So I don't discredit the people who think that it's fairies and fae. It could be, and you could easily replace aliens with those creatures and get the same exact results here. But I do believe that it's some extraterrestrial being going
now, I have not mentioned it being like fairies or the fae on my channel.
down.
However, I definitely do agree with that theory. I definitely do. I've just been sticking to the events that happen here. However, it does include people that believed in that persuasion that came over here and took part in the events that I'm even citing. So, like, yeah, I definitely agree that there are different types of magic that are being used. And like I said, if it's a science fiction thing, there's no doubt in my mind that it has something to do with bloodlines in American history. Even if it's science fiction, the science fiction aspect would have to come in to on a level to where it's like I said, they're observing the actual magic taking place.
I don't see magic at all. I understand why people think it's magic. So this is what I'm going to do for everybody here for this last couple, half an hour that we go or so. I'm going to put the call in line on the board. So if y'all want to call in and ask a question of me or the professor, the number is down there on the board right now, 518-290-0848. You can call right in. I see a lot of people are there, got a lot of stuff to say. Don't just say it in the chat. Come out here and say it live. We here for it. Kelly Johnson says T is going to flee to the fourth dimension and escape from the creeps. I don't gotta flee. I'm from Queens, New York. We don't. I never ran, never will. And before we take these calls and everything else, I'm gonna take a slight 2-minute break to refresh my drink, and I'm going to leave you with the intro to my programs when I do this. The great Carla Way. Let's give Professor a chance to strut. And one of our thing, everybody put who's down with the Don Tony Teflon's channel and as a member, please put the Carla Way emoji up there. Show us some love for doing that for us and having that so we could have that beautiful rendition all the way from the lady down under and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So throw your hands up for the beautiful Carla Way. He rocking with us and everything else real quick. Put that Carla Way emoji up in the chat. Let everyone know appreciation. All right, I'm ready for all the smoke. 518-290-0848. 518-290-0848. If you got something to say, don't be shy. Call up the line and let me hear what you're saying and everything else. Let me hear it. Don't be tough in the chat and all this and talking all this. Let's hear it right there. You know what I mean? Let's hear it right now. Let me know.
Yes, indeed. I want to hear something too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I love the call in time.
Yeah, let's hear it. You know what I mean? We do the call-ins every week. We always do on that and everything else. And I want to hear everything that y'all got to say. Because it's not about what we got to say. We got theories, but we know y'all got theories too. And we like to hear, we're interested in knowing what you feel like. So you know the number, the call. It's right on the scroll on the bottom going down there. If you want to say something, I'm Percy Garcia. You done called up before. We listen to you. 518-290-0848 is the number if you want to call in and say what's up to the Don Tony Teflon, the professor from Real Enigmas and Theories. If you agree, disagree, anything we can clarify for you, or if you got a theory of your own, definitely give a call. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy. Everyone, this
Yo,
ain't bad.
I'd like for Perry to come up and break down all the fairy aspects that he's noticed in the show. Julie definitely talked about the fairies healing Norman, the little toy, the little finger puppets coming from the fairies coming back from the Lake of Tears.
Josh was
So
saying the real Trinidad calling. You talking about my man KP? Are you talking about KP calling? He was driving around. If you're talking about that calling, if you're talking about him, he was just driving around. He was in the chat for a while, but he always calls in from Trinidad. I don't know if that's who you're talking about, but he usually does call in. He's probably in everything else, but he does call in. Listen, I can't not deny, and I would never deny anything that is before my eyes. And I understand why people think it's fairies. I understand why people think it's that, you know what I mean? And I understand why it does make sense. Again, go watch the movie we told you to watch earlier today. It does make sense. I understand why, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I don't think it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it turned out to be. I would not be surprised. I just don't. I think that the clues they have gave us so far just doesn't point to that. Doesn't all add up to that. So I think it's something else going on in there and all that good stuff. So, but I do understand why people have that. The Norse gods and everything else. I don't think it's got anything to do with Norse gods or anything like that. I don't.
Yo,
I don't.
that emoji right there, that
I,
emoji right there didn't come out too clear. I'm gonna try to make it again. But that's Norman. That's the two little finger puppets right there. That's one of my emojis.
I see the
Yeah.
name
So
of. I can only see the name of your emojis on the streamer. It doesn't show me the actual emoji itself. It just shows the names and stuff. So I can see it says
okay.
Norman, Norman. It says Norman, Norman, Norman. The first one says Norman, 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 Norman.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's the you can only see the names. Yeah, those are the little finger puppets. I'm gonna try to make it better, but that's what I've tried to get both of them in there. But I think I'll just put Norman in there, the yellow one. Um, yeah, definitely. When you look at okay, so I see somebody. I think it was Julia or
Mm-hmm.
who was that? That was Julie.
It could be
Okay, all
Julie
right. So
Barber.
Julie said something about I don't know why the my chat had froze and it wouldn't move or scroll or anything like that. But I seen somebody talking about the dream with Martin, and let's be clear, that whole thing was a dream.
We said
Things
what
can
boy?
happen. Yeah, Boyd and Martin, that whole thing was a dream. How do we know? Because in season two, when it first started off, it started off with Boyd having a dream. He had gone through the faraway tree. He was sick from them spider bites. He was sick and he was going through it. He could barely walk, and he went through the faraway tree and fell asleep in the faraway tree. He was transported to that place where the well was. Okay. But he was transported to the ruins of that place. He wasn't transported to the well. He was transported to the ruins. Here's how we know this. When he fell asleep inside of the faraway tree, and I'll just go through this real quick while we wait on somebody to call. When he fell asleep, when he went through the faraway tree, he had a dream that he was back in town ringing the bell. And then he looked at his hand and it started shaking. He dropped the bell and it started raining and he wakes up. But he was still in the dream because he starts talking and nobody's answering him. And he's screaming and yelling for the longest. And all of a sudden, he looks up and he can see light up there like a fire was burning. And then he hears Martin. He starts laughing and he starts thinking that he's done for. He's laughing to himself. And then he hears Martin. Hears this little frail voice in the background, like, "Hey, are you there?" You know what I'm saying? And "Are you real?" Asking him if he's real. He's like, "Yeah, I'm real. Is you fucking real?" Like, so then the rope, the infamous rope that everybody's like, how in the hell did it get down there? Did Martin like, fart it over there? Did he pick it up with his toenails and flick it over there? Did he, how did he get the rope over there? No one else was in there. It was a dream. So Boyd was barely walking. He could barely walk. He could barely stand. And you mean to tell me he climbs a rope all the way up a well? But let's not forget that when he starts climbing the rope up the well, he looks down and he sees Ellis. And Ellis is dressed like he's ready to go to the beach and hop on the boat. So that's another clue that it was a dream. And before the blood brother, okay, so when Boyd reaches the top of the well, he falls over and he said, "Oh, you made it. That's such a hard climb." Now that's indicating, how would Martin know if he hadn't climbed that himself? So he was just feeding into the idea that this was something real, but it was a dream. And it was a dream that was happening because he went through the far away tree with that 1864 note in his pocket. Okay, so he went through there with the note. That's what took him to this dream state. And then before the blood brother ritual happens, Boyd is able to see the music box. He sees the music box and starts trying to get dude up out of there. The music stops. And when the music, well, he managed to get one of his arms out. Then the music stopped. And then he grabs Boyd and scratches him on his arm and does the blood brother ritual. And Boyd grabs a torch. And when he goes through the door, Pete, go back and watch when he goes through the door how it totally just like the everything changed and he kind of woke up. You could see him wake up. And he went right back to acting like he was bit by the spiders again. He started, and everybody thought it was because of the worms, but he started coughing just like how he was coughing with the spiders. He couldn't walk, he couldn't see, he had to sit down, and he didn't get up until he saw the dog. That whole sequence with Martin was a dream. Anytime he saw that music box, he was in some sort of dream state. Now, to ignite the dream state, he lit the torch to go back into that dream state at that place, and then he was able to see the music box, destroy the music box. He seen the dream state that the three was taken to, the Randall, Julie, and Mari. He seen the three. He seen the dream state that they were taken to. They were all taken to a dream state. As a matter of fact, the cicadas going into their mouth was a dream state because no one else saw that. Everybody else was like, "Yo, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with Julie? What's wrong with her? She's wilding out." But she was seeing the cicadas in the room. Nobody else saw the cicadas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was like some sort of dream barrier. So like these people, think about it, right? Boyd was able to slip in and out of these dream states. Like when he was in the when he went to the diner to speak to Mrs. Blue, and she's like, "Nah, yo, you lied to me about Sarah. Like, that's my husband. Boom, boom, bang." He was asking for her forgiveness. But then when he walked to the door, boom, he fell on his head. He had a whole dream that he walked across over to the church, and the ballerina was in there and all of that right there. So then next thing you know, when he falls on his head, he's back at the diner. That was a whole dream state. Anytime he heard that music, again, Elgin saw the music box in a dream state. And just like the torch he that uh, Boyd was able to bring back, Elgin brought some of that water from the tub in his dream back with him. He said he woke up in the bed spitting out water. So he brought some of the water back just like Boyd brought the torch back. Kenny brought a burn on his arm back from the little roach. He also saw the music box in his dream. Elgin saw the music box in his dream. Mari saw the music box when she was dreaming. So, yeah, that whole sequence is like some sort of dream state. And Martin just gives us the biggest clue when he says, "What if Abby was right and this was all a dream?"
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying there. That when Boy was got there, when he first got there, he was awake. He goes through the faraway tree, and I think that when you see it, it just proves that the boy in white, to me, it's evil. He sent them both to bad spots when they got in that tree. Sarah got sent back to a town that was ready to kill her, and Boy got sent into this spot here. He's awake when he first gets there. He turns on the lighter and everything else. He starts to scream. Next time we see him when he's climbing up, is a good possibility that it was all dreaming. When he got up there, that not just dreaming, it would be. So it's weird to say he's dreaming at that point, because I do believe that it could be a dream, but where would he be if when he leaves the place and he's walking with the torch? Well, from what we've seen about the dream state, right? From what we
Mhm.
know about that dream state, we're going to call it the dream state just for a lack of a better term. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
else's physical body was somewhere else other than the dream state, right? When Randall was in
Mm-hmm.
the bed, Julie was in the bed. So we got to assume that Martin was somewhere else too, right? Because everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to figure out then if Boyd was in there, where was his body that wasn't in the dream state? If you're going to go through the whole other people being in the dream state there, because everybody else that we've seen in there, body was somewhere else. And their consciousness was locked into this place right here. So that would have to mean that somehow Boyd's body shouldn't have been in there. It had to be
Hey
somewhere else.
yo, did you tell everybody about the electricity?
Not yet. Not yet. I didn't get the video done yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, you doing a video? Oh wow, that's gonna be crazy. All right, well, I'm gonna fall back. I'm gonna fall back. We ain't gonna say nothing. We ain't gonna say nothing. I wanted to say something about the other John though. The what about the boulder? What you think about that one?
I think the Boulder theory, uh, it lines up with it. But I have to show the
Yo,
picture.
let's show him. Show him. Let's show him. I know. Can I share my screen, or you share your screen, or show him how do we do that?
You could share your screen. You should have a thing in there that says share screen.
Okay, let me look up on there. Where is it at? I gotta find it first. I definitely don't have it on hand.
Yeah. So if it's
Okay.
yeah, I'm just talking. But yeah, if it's a dreamscape, unless somehow Boyd is able to have his physical body be in the dream state with these people dreaming. Somehow he was able to cross that plane. Don't know how, but it's quite possible that he could. Everyone else that we've seen inside that place, physical body is somewhere else. Abby is supposed to be in the ground buried. Tabitha, I'm not Tabitha. Julie, we know she's in the bed. We know Mari's in the bed, and we know that Randall's in the bed. But we all see them standing there, looking at something. They were all looking at the same thing when they were screaming. There was something up there that they were able to see that no one else could see at that time. And when you dealt with the dude in there before he touched Boyd, and if he is dreaming, you could obviously say he could bring stuff back from the dream because we've seen Kenny get burned in the dream and he brought it back, right? So that wouldn't be a thing. That wouldn't be an issue. Not to why he wouldn't be able to have the worms in his arms or anything else like that. He could bring that back from that state if it is a dream. But somehow Boyd was able to have his physical body in the dream state and then come out and still be there because there's no because unless the faraway tree that he went in took him outside of that place and he never came out, he was always standing out there. That would be the only other way that would work with that whole situation. But it is definitely a good chance that it's either I think it's some type of time travel situation. I think that's exactly it. Boy, it was really in the ruins of the dungeons, but he entered the same dream state that Randall, Marie, and Julian. Yeah, it would have to be a situation like that. It would have to be that his physical body was able to get into that dream state somehow. He was Boyd's special, but he was able to get in there and be up in there while their spirits were trapped. It was really his physical body in there itself. And all that.
Okay.
That's the way I would look at it when dealing with that. And again, it's another thing that to me proves that the faraway trees are not random. They're being controlled by people to go where they want them to go. And that's what it is. There's someone behind it. There's no magic in these trees. These trees are teleportation devices that just show you teleportation devices that take you places that are being disguised as trees because they're being put there in the forest and stuff. But
Is that in there? Did that pop on?
you would have to share it, right? I see it at the
I think
bottom.
I put.
I can add it.
Okay, yeah, I think you have. Okay, here we go.
That's so dark. I can't see
Okay,
nothing. I can't see nothing, bro. Can y'all see it? It's really dark. It's a real dark picture. I can't see it. Let me add. Can anybody see that picture there? That's on the
Hold on,
screen
let me
there.
try something. Let me try to. Is it a way to edit this joint? Yo, I wish I
Could have
wish I
did
would have
it.
had this ready.
Yeah, we could.
This
You know,
is okay. We could bring up the brightness. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Take down some of that contrast. Save it. Blow it. Blow it back up. Okay, y'all see that now? How's that?
it's but better. You can see it now.
Okay, so I wish we had the other picture too. The other picture would be dope. The other picture is of the guy on the boulder. So if everybody remembers the guy that was under the boulder that Jade seen in his first vision, he was crushed from like the bottom of his chest on down, right? And it's crazy that his eyes look just like the eyes of Julie, Randall, and Mari. Okay. And where did Julie, Randall, and Mari end up? They ended up in this thing where Martin was. Okay. But Martin was long gone, of course. And they took the places. Now, I thought that was real crazy because when Boyd went to inspect this place after climbing up that rope, right? Look at this skeleton right here. Look at how his body is like crushed right in the same area that that boulder would be crushed in. It also looks like this skeleton's body is charred. I wish I had the picture of the other skeleton. The other skeleton looks like the meat was chewed off his bones, or some sort of insects or something must have cleaned his bones, because the bones are like white, like like a skeleton from like your high school anatomy, John. Like, so, but this particular skeleton right here, could this particular skeleton be the victim that we saw with the boulder on top? I mean, it totally matches the body and where he was smashed at. You could see that the flesh and the skin had been smashed down to the legs, because it's not like they just made a shitty skeleton, because the other skeleton on the other side looked totally different. So these two characters met different fates, obviously, and obviously didn't beat the clock, so to speak, because they're there and they're corpses now. But I thought that that was an interesting find. You know what I'm saying? No big one there, but it could definitely shed some light on some of the things that we already thought. Like, if your eyes end up going like that, if you get caught up by any of these entities or spirits in these bottles or something or whatever, this is what happens to you. You end up with a different fate. It might not be the cicadas, but it might be boulders just falling out of the sky or some shit, or some old ill shit. Imagine, like, these people had to worry about going to sleep at one point, right? So just like boulders falling out of, look at all of the rocks and shit all over the town or all over around by Colony House, just ambiguously placed everywhere. Like, maybe there was a period where them shits was falling out the sky. That would be crazy as hell. So this could be like the tale of 10 calamities or something, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they would do like boulders just wiping shit out. I think that it would be a situation where you go through the far away tree and you get stuck inside. Like, say you had teleportation and you teleport, or you were able to phase through a wall, and when you got halfway through the wall, your phasing ability stopped, and now the wall is inside of you. I know Vision and X-Men in the comic books, he would always do that. He would put his arm through superheroes and then stop the phase and turn it solid and blow them up like that. So I would think it'd be a
Yeah,
more
fact.
situation like that, that you're going to go. And again, we're going to see somebody go through the faraway tree and actually get stuck inside of a cabinet or get stuck inside of it somewhere. It's going to take them somewhere where they weren't supposed to go and get stuck inside of a rock. I can guarantee that that's going to happen. Maybe not next series, but that's definitely going to happen. They're not going to bring that up, not to pay that off. And it'll be one of the characters. And that person in the thing did look like Randall. Not that they had Randall cast after that, but if you look at the guy, it does look like that could be Randall. That was there and everything else. And again, it could be a situation where, and I believe that this is not the first time this has happened. I think these people have been there before. I think we're dealing with some alternate dimension type stuff. And I think they're running experiments. And when it doesn't go right, they flood the town, kill everybody out, and then they bring in the next alternate people and run the story back again until they get the actual results that they're looking for.
Indeed. What was the chat saying about the skeleton?
A couple of people said they think it's a cool theory, and they think that, but no one said it. You think it's a cool theory. I think it was what we got from it, and everything.
Okay.
I think you gotta go. I think that probably people got to go back and look now. You know what I mean? More than anything else.
Yeah, you gotta go check that out. I know. It's kind of it's just kind of strange or a set production choice for them to have the skeleton look like that. I think, you know what I mean. Like, and then we see that we might get a backstory. We might get some American history for sure. I think we're gonna get some sort of. I remember hearing that. Now, disclaimer that I didn't watch Lost at all, but I remember hearing that some people were complaining that there were too many flashbacks in Lost. We've only had one flashback so far with Boyd. It was kind of like a flashback episode, but I love the way they interweaved it in what was actually going on. So it wasn't just like full flashback mode. But I think we are going to get some flashbacks of other instances of what's happening. I remember I saw a couple of weeks back a picture on the guy that plays Ellis's character, and he had a picture of him in a setting where it looked like the old Wild West, and he was in the back of like a horse and carriage, and he or a horse and buggy or whatever, and he had like a wound in his side, looked like he'd been shot in the side. It was definitely some acting shit. It wasn't like he was on vacation and got hurt, ended up getting blood all over his clothes and forehead, and he decided, hey, let me take a picture for Instagram. I think that it had to do with some sort of acting gig, and I'm just very interested to see if it was from or not, because that means that we will get like a flashback of Ellis in the old Wild West.
It could be from, could be a different movie he was working on. I'll ask him. I'll hit him up and ask him. He'll let me know.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm cool with him. I'll ask him.
Pretty dope. Now, if he hits you up and says, well, I can't tell you that right now, just enjoy the picture, then you already know what time it is. That's from.
Yeah. If it was something like that. But if it wasn't, he would say, nah, I was working on this other movie and stuff. So now he's mad cool. It's cool people and stuff. 100%. You know what I mean? I'll definitely find out. I'll ask him tomorrow, and I'll find out. I'll get an answer back to you. What was going on?
Yes,
with that.
Indeed.
I think his.
So it doesn't look like anybody wants to call tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, no, people are nervous, man. They're nervous because they don't want the smoke. They say they want the smoke, but they don't want it. But I'm gonna have to get up out of here. I was gonna say, I think I'm talking about Elgin. I think Elgin's destiny is to be drowned in the end. I think he dies. He drowns when he dies. When the flood comes, he's gonna go out that way. I think that all this stuff is setting up, letting him know that this is how he's going to die. It's going to be done like that. Let me just give a shout out real quick to my man Wolf Spear, real quick, right before we out of here. Gave 10 Teflon TV memberships out. 10. So the people who just became new members to the channel, please give a shout out to Wolf Spear for gifting those 10 memberships. Thank you so much. That is very, very generous of you and everything else. And I hope that people that maybe go to people that subscribe to your channel too. I don't know if that works like that, but maybe it does, because the chats seem to be interactive together. I don't know. Are they all together in one big chat, or is it just the people on your chat on your side and people on my chat on one side? because I see them both, so
I
I can't
I
tell.
don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell. I see somebody named Rich TV Chino. You see that person?
No. Wait. Joseph White said Tony cut off the calls. I didn't cut the calls off. You want to call in right now? You can call in right now. If you want to call in, I'm about to go, but if you got a call, then I'm here for the call right now. I'll give y'all a chance to call. I mean, I'm here for a while, asking y'all to call in, but I'll definitely give you a chance
Well,
right
you
now.
obviously can see my chats then too, because I see that chat.
Yeah, I can. If you're looking at the
Yes, you
StreamYard chat, it'll say like I can see a symbol for you for the people in your chat, and then I don't have that symbol for the people in my chat.
okay, I see it now.
All right, we got a call.
Oh, okay. Now I wasn't seeing a lot of people in your chat. I was just seeing my chat.
All right, let me take the
I was
call.
looking in the YouTube studio.
All right, we got a call. What's going on? You're rocking with the Don, Tony Teflon, and the Professor. Now, I will say this in case y'all aren't remember because it's hooked up differently. Professor, if you talk when the caller talks, he's not going to be able to hear you. So we'll have to take this guy's what he's got to say, hang up with him, and then you'll be able to respond right after. All right.
Okay, let him go.
All right, let's go. Thank you from both of us. Mhm. Yep.
I don't hear the caller. Tony, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't hear the caller, and I'm seeing a couple of people in my chat don't hear the caller as well.
Hmm. All right. Wait, so well, hold on, my homie. The people are saying they don't hear you. Even people on my stream are saying they can't hear it. There's something I can hear you, but people are saying on my stream that somehow it's not. They're not playing. This is all right. One sec. I know. I know what I got to do. Once this hold on 1 second, and then I'll let you run it back. That's my fault. That's my fault. Let me switch this real quick, and we'll be able to hear you in a second. It was there. What happened was when he shared that photo, it kicked off my call thing. That's
Okay,
that's what happened. So I just gotta change that
you
and
have to
put
add
that.
that to the set again.
Oh, wrong one. Jesus, that's the wrong one. 1 second. It's got to add it back and stuff, and we'll be able to do it. Add do there, and then go to here, and then all right. Talk for me now. You should be good.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. I can always hear you. Can everybody else hear him?
Yes, loud and
So
clear.
All right, there we
can
go.
you hear me?
Yep, you can hear
Yeah, I'm from Trinidad. I love you, Tony. You are the best.
you.
Let's go do push-ups together. Go
Hey,
find some women.
let's go,
I'm just kidding.
man. Let's go. Let's go.
So let's go bomba class. Okay, so So anyway, yeah, I was saying if they could hear me better now, basically, yeah, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. You and Real Enigmas, all that you guys do. Like, thank you so much for giving us like so much open eyes into what's going on in the show, and I appreciate. I know what you guys do isn't easy, so thank you so much. And I'm always a big supporter of you guys, me and everybody else in the chat for sure. Thank you. Um, so I was saying a little bit earlier that basically, so there was two things I was going to mention. I know you said just bring them up and may have to leave after. That's fine. So the first thing was I was going to say in reference to what you were mentioning, Tony, earlier about Randall not dying so early and might stick around later in the season.
Yeah.
That if you notice that Victor has a sense of drawing things that he's seen particular in the past, but also potentially in the future, right? So in one of his photos that he draws that you have, and probably you guys talked about this somewhere in the past, but I think you guys may have potentially glossed over it. In the photo that he draws of the flood, if you look at the two characters that's on top of the building on the house, one of them actually is that if you look at it, the same clothes that Randall wears, which is like an open vest with the shirt and the pants and that he wears. And if you look at the other character in the yellow, that's similar to Boyd, which makes sense because Boyd doesn't like Randall, but he may end up in a situation where he's stuck with Randall later on, since he's, may have a change of heart or whatever could happen with him in the season, that it makes them both end up on top of the roof. And during the possible flood, which basically could be after Elgin dies, which could be from his fear of basically drowning, could be in the Brundles or whenever it happens, and there's a possible flood, and maybe season 4 or season 5. So I just want to get your guys' ideas and what you may have thought about that. And if you need to see the picture, we could try to find it for you. Absolutely. The second thing is, this might throw a little wrench in your game, Tony, but I just want to throw it out there before it got too far. So there was and shout out to Robert Saunders, by the way, who found an article of an interview of season 3 is coming up and everything that's happening, and they say they're going to reveal a lot of answers if people have been wondering if they're going to get the answers they wanted to. And so the two writers basically got together in an interview recently, and they say, yes, a lot of the answers will be revealed for season 3. So hopefully that can help people put some things at bed, since they are going to Comic-Con San Diego, and hopefully, kick it off. And, since Stranger Things is ending next year, they could probably catch that fan base, which would be amazing. So I don't think they're going to end at season 5. They might go to season 6. And if they're lucky, a finale in season 7 to wrap everything up. But I think probably no more than 6. So there's one thing that they mentioned in their interview. They did say they're not going to reveal a bunch of things. That's answers that we want. But one important thing they did want to note, and I'll read this to you, Tony, here. The TVFanatic.com has a Zoom interview with John Griffin and Jeff Pinkner. And what they say, quoted in this interview, is, while you and I are eager to understand the mythology and the mysteries, they may be putting less emphasis on it because they know exactly where it's going. The enjoyment for them is making us care about the characters. And John Griffin stated, we always know exactly where the show is going and exactly the answers to the mysteries that are. We've also been equally aware that if you don't care about the characters, it's not going to matter. This mythology that we have and we're unveiling, it only takes you so far. But you could have the most clever, the most shocking twist in the world. And if you don't care about the characters, you just don't care. So in lieu of that, what I'm saying is, if anybody ever thought there was no mythology that was on the show, in your theory, then you may want to adjust your thinking.
All right.
And I'll end with that, Tony.
All right.
And I'll let you guys take over.
All right. Thank you for the call. I truly appreciate it. Call back anytime. I think
he gave you some smoke, Tony.
I don't know about that. I
You
would
asked
say
for the smoke. He gave
I,
you a little
Thank
bit
I,
you,
of
fellas.
smoke.
I'll talk to you
I,
guys soon.
all right, have a good one,
They
brother.
stated it, not me. They stated, not them.
No,
Take
I
care.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Uh, I don't think that because they said use the word mythology that means exactly that it's all about Greek mythology or anything else like that. I mean, it's this what I think they're probably talking about. If they can give you all of these things that they have given you, and if they don't care about the characters, it really doesn't make any sense what other twist it's going to be. I think I've said here from the beginning that the people who are going to die, the people who are going to be affected, has to be people that you actually care about. It's not going to be people in the background. So I said it has to be Donna. It has to be someone like Kenny, because if it doesn't pull those emotional heartstrings, then it makes no sense. If they go over here, and I said when they talked about the mole, or what reason why I picked Donna from the mole, and they said it can't be the guy she's running with, her husband in real life, because he has no emotional weight. It wouldn't matter, so it has to be something more like that when it's all said and done. In the end, listen, I said it from the beginning. If it does have something to do with fairies or anything else like that, I would not be shocked. I don't think it will when it's all said and done, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be shocked about it. So I think that's what he meant, but I think we can all take it in any different way that you want to take it and everything else. Yeah, history is also mythology, correct? When you talk about history, you can refer to it as the mythology. So it, I guess you could take it any way you want to take
Yeah, I
it.
think it's a little bit of smoke though. When he says, like, if that quote was literal, and he said the mythology that we're going to reveal is useless without caring about the characters first, that definitely points to some sort of mythology, you know. And characters have been bringing up mythology. There's actually a lore and mythology within the Chromanacle itself. Um, a lot of the, like, Boyd living at the post office. That's very symbolic to, like I said, Ben Franklin. I spoke about that in one of my videos. Him
Who's that?
holding the
That's
torch,
Terrence.
Boyd holding the torch.
That's Terrence thing, right? The
No,
Ben.
I said something about, no. I said I did a video about uh, Benjamin Franklin and Boyd, and I also talked about just signs of liberty. You have Boyd holding the torch, and his son being named Ellis, like as in Ellis Island. I said that in a couple of videos last year too. But like I definitely think there's like legend, to say the least, and at worst mythology that backs up the overall story. Um, I don't, now that I'm hearing a quote like that from the writers, I don't suspect that it'll just be undertones. I think we're going to see actual events in American history where Frumlin was existing before. We've already seen Martin. Martin was a dream. I am definitely standing on that. Martin was a dream, but dude was a Civil War, not a Civil War soldier, but he was a Marine. He was obviously a Marine, and the tattoo that he had was a tattoo from like those older times. I've looked up the tattoo and tried to see what time frame that was where people started using that particular style, and it was from like an older time. And he knew the simplified call, so he definitely speaks it. Then you have the Civil War soldiers that we saw from the Negro Regiment, the Union soldiers. The guy under the boulder appeared to be a Confederate soldier. Um, you have something that Taryn pointed out to me was the Battle of Fort Pillow, which happened in Tennessee. where, you know, Negro regiment soldiers were slaughtered and then burned. A lot of their bodies were burned. And that was led by a guy named Nathan Bedford Ford, I believe. Nathan Bedford, yeah. And Nathan is the name of Sarah's brother, which is interesting. Um, I've drawn a lot of different parallels to American history. You know, you don't have any Bibles in this place, but you got a tattered American flag there. I think that that is very symbolic for them to put that right in the beginning part. There's a lot of stuff in that intro, the title intro, um, that is clues, I believe. Someone pointed out a clue that can be found in the newspaper on one of Victor's drawings in the title credits. And it talks about a town or something named Abbeville. I forget about it, but I read this thread on Reddit,
No, I
and it
did a
was
whole
pretty
video on
interesting.
that. I did a whole video on the
You did?
Abbeville, South Carolina, and all and everything that is said on that paper.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and then, you know, just the the whole thing about everybody being in the United States when they found it. It's not like somebody was driving around in Hawaii or Alaska. You know what I'm saying? They were
Mhm.
they were all right here on the contiguous plane here.
Yeah,
So
but it
I
leads
think
to the
that's
point.
dope.
I think it leads to the point real quick of how they all getting here from all these different spots, but ending up in this one spot. And to me, I only way I can say see how that happened is that if there's some type of wormhole that they all pass through that brings them to this spot, and that's the only way I could see them being brought there and them solving how they're getting there. Would be some situation like that, unless I mean if they all come, that's only I can't even see them any other way for them to get there. Everyone from different spots in the country to one spot, it would have to be a wormhole like that brought everybody there. And I think the faraway trees are wormhole generators, which are just teleportation devices.
Mm, okay. And yeah, I mean, it would, for me, I have to see like a device. The most science fiction or science aspect to this show is Tabitha ending up in a hospital with computer screens and hospital beds. If
Well,
I
they
was a person that was if I was a person that was here to watch a science fiction show, I would feel disappointed in the fact that I've watched 2 seasons and I haven't had any real hardcore proof of like a science fiction theme going on. Someone could argue that the faraway trees are some sort of teleportation device. However, it doesn't make it science fiction until you show and prove that these trees are mechanical in nature. For all we can see is that these trees are growing out of the ground and they're moving, but it doesn't
well,
say like there's any computer chips inside of them or any of that kind of thing,
mhm.
you know.
I, I I would say the fact that the tree moves is showing you that trees don't move. All right. The fact that he's saying that the
Trees
trees
do
move,
move.
I mean, trees don't move, bro. There's like one
I,
tree in the
I got a
world.
whole video of trees moving on my I got a whole video about trees moving on my page.
All right. I'm just saying the trees I've been aware of my whole life that I've seen that I left when I was a child. I come back and they 20 years, 30 years later, they in the same spot. You right. So if there are some moving trees I don't know about, but from what we know, a tree is there. I mean that is the whole definition of someone laying down their roots, meaning that when you get rooted in, you're in that spot, and that's why you're there, right? That's why they came up with that term, laying down your roots, because that tree roots himself there. That tree's not moving. So I understand exactly what you're saying, what you're saying about it. They haven't showed, but they actually haven't showed any fairies. They haven't showed anything like that. They're dealing with fairies or anything there either. So the people who are into the fairy theory and stuff like that, you have not seen anything in this show that has existed. That
But
there's
they've spoken on it. That fairies were mentioned in the first episode.
they
Fairies were
didn't show
mentioned
it.
by right, but she mentioned fairies. They were
Well,
mentioned,
they
and
mentioned
then
scientific stuff. If you want to go that route, because Jade talks
oh,
about
true indeed.
Einstein and Rosenberg and the Rosenberg Brig and science fiction stuff. So they mentioned science fiction things. If you want to just talk
Right,
about
Chrissy
what they
mentions the
mentioned.
ball of fire. They even named one of the episodes the ball of fire,
Mm-hmm.
magic ball of fire.
Which is
So
talking about
yeah,
which is talking about the earth, though. All right. So the magic ball of fires, the sun and the earth and all that, how they have this magic ball of fire that's just floating around this universe, and the sun and the earth is just happily floating around this universe, that it's almost seems like magic, that everything fits right into place and no one gets burnt up and everything is so exactly where the distance it needs to be for life and everything else and all that. So it's that's the whole magic ball, which to me, if you're talking about the sun magic ball of fire, then you're talking about outer space, which would lead you to believe that this has something to do with aliens in the end.
right. I can see that. That's why I'm not mad at the theory. At the same time, as far as we've gone to do a reveal on aliens, I think we've seen a show make a mistake like that. What was it? And it was a really good show too, but it seemed like the show started taking a downfall when they started talking about aliens, and it was Under the Dome. Did you see
Well,
Under the Dome?
I did watch Under the Dome. I think that what happened with Under the Dome is that it just in the end they didn't follow it right. Like it just, I think it had a hot season one and then it didn't live up to expectations. I don't think that it was just that reveal. It was the show overall itself wasn't good. I think the show went downhill after that. I think the first season was fresh, it was new, and then I think they got away from what it was and stuff. And again, when you have a mystery box show, no matter what show it is, when certain things get revealed, it takes away from the actual mystery of the show. People will tell you that they loved Lost, but the ending was the worst thing they ever seen. So Lost had a great seasons that they had, but by the time they got to have to explain it, it wasn't revealed the way they wanted it to be. So the mystery was gone. So they said it. So the ending was terrible. You know what I mean, right? You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's all about, in the end, people tell you the Sopranos ending was terrible. People tell you a lot of these shows that were great but ended terrible. Sticking the landing on the show is hard to do. People
Game of
tell you
Thrones.
Dexter stuck. That both Dexter's ending was bad, right? It just didn't work. So when it comes down to it, in the end, it's you got to stick that landing, but with that reveal, when you put it out there, it's got to fit. You got to leave.
Hey yo, real quick, Percy Garcia, call in and let us hear some of that Fatima's gas pack inspired theories. Because Percy definitely be on some of that Fatima's weed.
The fuck
He
is
be
that?
on some of that Lonely Dragon tea and pancakes.
Tony, you were getting some under the dome. What does that mean? Tony, you were getting some under the dome? Were you getting some under the
Pause.
dome, Tony? Yeah, that sounds kind of crazy, bro. Justin, I don't know about that, man. I ain't that type of dude,
Pause.
bro. Yeah, I don't know what that means, bro. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're talking about there, man. I don't know what you're talking about there, man. I don't know, son. It is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep that stuff to yourself, I guess. I can't help you. I don't know.
We talk about Under the Dome. Bull got triggered real quick.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah.
Yo, just go ahead and call in, Percy. Let's make it happen, bro. Like we got
He
what
called in
10?
before.
We got 10. Well, we go 11:30, bro, and then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it live after this. I'm gonna keep going after this. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna jump on for at least another hour, and we'll rap about it. I like the vibe. The Saturday Night Live vibe is crazy, though. It's funny. Like once we get all the serious shit out the way, people in the chat start cutting up, talking about Under the Dome and all kind of shit. This
Yeah,
happens every time. I
yeah, I
think
want
we
to.
gonna have a good night tonight when I get back on the street. If everybody's coming back, if y'all from Tony's channel, come on over. We about to do a live stream where we gonna have some fun though. But Percy, call on this live stream before we end, man, because I need to hear some of that Fatima's gas pack. There he is.
We got a call coming through. Let's hear it.
Call from
Percy Garcia.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon Professor.
Tony, Professor, what's going on, fellas?
What up? What up?
Can y'all hear me pretty good? I'm on the
Pete.
earpiece outside on my balcony.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. We hear you.
Yeah.
So, I just want to, speaking on the fairy tale, I just want to speak on my observation of it. So, Ethan's two books, that I think that was them telling us what we're dealing with. Is we're watching a fairy tale. Now, when you look up the definition of a fairy tale is a children's story, and it's also a story that's misleading. It's meant to mislead. So when you take that into consideration, you got to consider that everything you're watching and everything that you're listening to is a fairy tale and is meant to mislead you. So there's patterns on the show that also prove it. And and the pattern is like in they show the mirror. The mirror is a big thing. And when you put yourself in the mirror, your perception changes. The left is the right and the right is the left. So this is what I'm saying. They're hitting us with misdirection.
And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that in from.
And not show.
Oh, he can't hear me either.
And then
yo,
they'll
that's
show
crazy.
thing and not tell us. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
You want me to slow down?
No, not. What mirror are you talking about?
Okay, so you see Boyd looking in the mirror when he's cutting his hair. You see the mirror that's in the music box.
All right.
You see boys screaming in the mirror.
I think this is a metaphor for its misdirection. You got to change your perception of what you're listening to and what you're seeing.
Tabitha's reflection in the window.
This is a fairy tale, and they're misleading us by telling us things and not showing us, and showing us things and not telling us. Everything that we're debating, in my opinion, we're all saying the same thing. It's like tomato. These aliens, these fourth dimensional beings, purgatory, the alternate reality. This is all just different ways to define the same thing that we're watching. You know, I was trying to explain, and I get it. My theory is hard to like digest because a lot of people aren't aware of mythology.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you speak on electricity. Electricity is a big theme on this show, and it kind of ties in with my body possession theory because my theory is that you have an influence from above, and then you have the human, and then an influence from the bottom. Electricity consists of three components. You have a positive, which could be any of the influences, and a negative, which could be any of the influences. And then the human is the ground. And then you have that produces an alternate current and a direct current. And the current is the route that we could take. You can either take the history route, which Sequence and you guys took, or you could take the fairy tale route, which is the route that I take. And that's how I came up with my theory about the Greek entities, the 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 fairies, and all those mythologies that tied in. And I was kind of shocked when that caller called in, and basically, because I'm not on social media, so I don't look into like interviews and posts and stuff like that. But I found it shocking that he kind of backed up my theory with
Look,
the mythology.
I feel you. I listen. I think when you're dealing with electricity, if people want to say that it's not it's not a scientific thing that we're watching out here, and that we haven't seen any scientific stuff, but we've seen places that have no electricity have electricity. We've seen a bunch of things. They have not showed us. I think maybe people think we're going to see a transporter like Star Trek or a laser beam. It doesn't have to be that. I mean, so scientific horror is the genre of this show. I would say. I think that what was that? Stranger Things is the same, has the same distinction of scientific horror. I think it's the same thing there. Uh, as for I will not tell you that it's not fairies or anything like that. It 100% can be. I can't say it is or it isn't. You know what I mean? I have no idea. I didn't write the show, so but the fact they used the word mythology specifically, they could have used other words. But if that is the word they chose to use, they used that word for a reason. So it
Well,
has
can
to
we
have
agree
some
that?
type of myth or something like that.
Well, can we agree that magic and science is basically the same thing?
Yeah, magic is undiscovered science.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Tomato, tomato. We're all debating over the same thing. We're debating over our own definition. This is what I mean about the direct current and the AC current. There's two routes that you could take to get to the same destination.
I feel you on it. I feel, yeah. Me and Professor, we talked, and we've had conversations where we feel that everybody got something right, and like everybody put one thing. Again, if you say this fairies, I'm saying it's aliens. You could easily call a fairy an alien. I mean, it would be the same thing.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be different, right?
What is an alien? By definition, an alien is really just something different.
That's it. Basically, that's all it is.
And these Greek entities that are in my theory are the aliens, in my opinion, are the aliens that you speak of. They're fourth dimensional beings. They're having this possession, this influence. Everything that you guys are speaking is just like I said, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would love to have you, and so you could flesh out your. We talked about this before, Percy. It's not the first conversation we've had. I told you can come on and flesh out your whole theory, and I would love to hear the whole thing when we have time for you to really break down the whole thing. I'm definitely about it. And anytime, as I told you before, you're welcome anytime. You can come on the channel and talk about it and everything else and all that. Yeah, I definitely would appreciate to hear it. But I know that if Real Enigma speaks, you're not going to be able to hear him. So I'm gonna end the call right now because I'm about to get up at it. I'm about to fall asleep. I'm sorry. I had a rough day today, bro. A rough day. But no, I appreciate you calling. Please hit me up, and let's work out a time to get you on here and hear the whole theory and stuff. And just get you on camera too, not just on the telephone.
I got you.
All right, my brother.
Hey man, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate the great theories. Real, what do you think about that?
Yo, I'm here. I'm still here.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking you what you
Okay,
think.
yeah. So that's exactly what I call Percy up here to do, is just break it down a little something. And I agree. That all these nuances are there for a reason, and what these writers have done is a masterful job at putting a little something in there for everybody. Back in the day, like, I'm a hip hop head. When an album dropped, one of the best compliments that you could give an album was, man, it has something for everybody on this album. And like the classic ones are like that, like, you know, it was written, a lot of them, like even Ready to Die, Biggie, like those are classic albums because it kind of has something that everybody could vibe on, sample wise, just texture wise, period, rhyme wise. It was a great time. What was that, 1994? That
Mm-hmm.
was damn near when everybody dropped. Like Protect Your Neck came out in 93. The whole album came out in 94. Nas came out in 94. Craig Mack dropped. Biggie dropped. And everybody's album had the same thing. Oh, it has something for everybody on it. I think when you produce a television show, which costs a lot more money than to produce an album, and there's a lot more effort and a lot more craftsmanship that goes into it, when you end up with a result with a bunch of different nuances that different people can grasp upon and take and make theories, I think that you have created something so interactive that even long after the show is over with, people will be able to connect with and still talk about, just like you see with Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Walking Dead, like even the movie The Matrix. Like it was just something for everybody.
I feel you. I think when it comes down to it, I said I had someone my mod put your channel in my chat so that people can go to subscribe to your channel. Who are in my chat and stuff you want to hear from. The link is in the description. Go over there and subscribe. He's actually going to keep going right now and keep the conversation going. So make sure you go over there. I will say this before I get up out of here. The number one thing I've learned about making theories, and I've been in this theory making game for 9 years now on YouTube, with Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and everything else like that. The number one thing I've learned from making these theories is the more convoluted the theory is, the less likely it is to happen. Because especially when you're dealing with a television show that has to communicate with a broad audience across the world, they have to give you something that everyone can figure out, that everyone can look back and say, oh my God, yes, that was right there. It can't be all this craziness. I think that a lot of stuff, too much in there where it's going to, people gonna be like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like I see, this, like, what was that show that just came on, that Constellation, which I thought was a great show, but my sister was calling me every 5 minutes trying to figure out exactly what was going on. And I think that's why it got canceled in season 1, that it was just too complicated for people to follow. So when it comes
You were
down
saying
to
that you were saying that, yeah.
I think it has to be something that everybody can follow in the end. And that's the only thing I'll say about making theories. And I think that everyone's got something right. We'll see in the end, but it's going to be a great ride seeing it. Listen, Professor, thank you for rocking with me as always, man. Glad we were able to get this done. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Real Enigma and Theory is going to go live right after this. So if y'all still got that from menu and everything else, you want to talk some more, go right on his channel. The link has been in the description. I'm sure his people who are already here are going to be there, and they're going to be rocking. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the room, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.